It is day one of the illegal tampering period in the National Football League. We're kicking off free agency live with you guys right here on Steelers Talk. Welcome into the show. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today we kick things off. Of course, actually last night, we really kicked things off with free agency as the Pittsburgh Steelers signed their brand new starting quarterback, at least for the foreseeable future here, in Russell Wilson, signing him to a one-year contract worth the vet minimum $1.21 million. All right, that's like 4 times less expensive than what Mason Rudolph would have cost the Steelers if they would have went that route. And in terms of just overall value, when you combine someone's skill set with how they're playing now, with their resume, what they've done in their career, combined with the price, I'm not sure if there has been a better value in the history of the National Football League at the quarterback position than getting Russell frickin' Wilson, a one-time Super Bowl champion, somebody that's a 2-time conference champion, somebody that's been to 16 playoff games, somebody that is top 10 all-time in game-winning drives and fourth-quarter comebacks, somebody that has one of the best touchdown percentages in league history, one of the best interception percentages in league history, one of the best passer ratings in league history. You're getting that guy for a price that, rookie quarterbacks this year are going to be making more money than Russell Wilson against the cap. Goodness gracious. It's just absolutely fantastic, man. Make sure you guys go down there in the comments right now and get us going by shouting out your city. We already got 80 people watching right away here in the morning. Producer Coop, how are we doing today, my friend?
We are good. It was a late night for the Steelers Talk crew, and we're back at it this morning. We'll see if there's some more action today. Couple names I'm watching for the Steelers, and you kind of mentioned it there in our live poll. Guy like Bobby Wagner, perhaps?
I would love Bobby Wagner, man. You have to realize now, Russell Wilson is like best friends with Bobby Wagner. He's a free agent. He's looking to win titles at this point in his career. Pittsburgh Steelers seem like a damn good fit to me, man. I don't know. Like Bobby Wagner joins forces with T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr. I have a feeling they're going to sign a good corner to put on the other side of JPJ. Landon Roberts had a really good season last year. If you add Bobby Wagner, a 10-time All-Pro, all right, this guy's been made 10 straight All-Pro teams, all right? You know how hard that is to do? That's extremely difficult. That's like LeBron James level of dominance at a position, okay? And that's what Bobby Wagner has brought. So don't tell me Bobby Wagner's washed or that he's too old or anything like that. The Steelers are trying to win right now. That is extremely evident by the fact that they're going out and getting Russell Wilson when apparently they still believe in Kenny Pickett for the long term. They're trying to win Super Bowls now. When Omar Khan said at the Combine, we want to go win Super Bowls now, he meant that shit, man.
No doubt.
He absolutely meant that shit. So let's go give some shout-outs here. We got Frogger, New York City. We got Nicholas, Rob. We got Brian Ruiz. We got Pride of a Lion? I don't know how you say that. And then we got FaZe Jumbo. We got Chris Tuff. We got Dominic Schrader in here. What's up, Dominic? We got Glenn James. We got Mike G. We
all
got
over the country, too.
Mr. Deadhead from West Sacramento. The King. He says Kyle King is here. What's up, Kyle? Let's go. He says it's going to be a good day. Nicholas says he wants Tyler Boyd. Might be a Pittsburgh Steeler today, man. Absolutely could.
By the way, T. Higgins requested a trade, too, out of Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah. The Bengals are cooked.
It might be over for the Bengals.
But, I was thinking about this last night. Even before I knew T. Higgins was going to get traded, I was like, I think the Steelers are the best team in the AFC North.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of crazy to think because we have the number 1 seed in the AFC from last year in our division in the Baltimore Ravens. But right now, I would say the Steelers roster is in a good position to be in the same kind of level as the Ravens.
I'd agree.
And the Steelers always eat the Ravens' lunch money every single season, so they're probably going to get those 2 wins in the sweep again next year.
We like to beat the Baltimore Ravens.
We like cooking some birds here on Steelers Talk, man. And I just feel like the Steelers are the favorite. For me, personally, I think the Steelers are the favorite in the AFC North next year with Russell Wilson, and I'm so excited. Thank you to our sponsor today for today's live stream, Prize Picks. You can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Football season may be over, but the action on the floor is just heating up when it comes to college and professional basketball. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the United States of America. How does it work, you ask? Well, here's how you play. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. This is an example here of what you could do with Prize Picks. You could take the more on points with Luka Doncic. You could take the more. That's actually a demon in their Demons and Goblins promotion. The Demons are the tougher to hit projections, and then the Goblins are the easier to hit projections. But if you can hit a Demon, man, the payout's going to be even bigger. If it's a Goblin, it's going to be a lower payout, and then you could take the more as well. And then you can with Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your pick, so you can get started right away. Right now, download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the game or the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more or pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks. So go ahead for me right now and grade the Russell Wilson signing for me right now. I see some people getting some hashtag Steelers questions in there, Mr. Coop, so we can probably get to those pretty soon here. But let's grade the Russell Wilson signing right now. Nicholas is giving it an A. Brian is giving it an A. George is giving it an A. Lane is giving it an A. All right, everybody's giving it an A. Devin gives it a C. W. Repulse gives it an A+. It seems like most people really like this. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of A's, A minuses.
What is there not to like? You get them for the veteran minimum.
Exactly. You know, I just feel like, I honestly think if the Steelers couldn't get Russell Wilson, there is a significant possibility that they were going to go with Kenny Pickett as their starting quarterback. It's just that the Russell Wilson value here, getting a guy with his resume, with his stats, with his, even last year, he had a better passer rating than Patrick Mahomes last year, all right? And that's not to say, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is worse than Russell Wilson, all right? Chill. But, like, the fact that he had a better passer rating than last year shows that he is not cooked. He is not washed. He is still a good quarterback, and you're getting him at the best possible value that you can get him at the vet minimum. I mean, Denver's going to be on the hook for $38 million of his cap next year.
It was too good of a deal for Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan to pass up.
Exactly. It was an offer they couldn't refuse. Plain and simply.
Absolutely.
And Omar Khan, being the gangster that he is, he says, you know what, Kenny? You can wait another couple years, man. Let's bring in Russ. Let's go win a championship right now with one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League. Here's our Super Chat menu today. Any Super Chat. We're going to just be answering questions. We're going to be, breaking down your guys' comments, all these different things. So if you want to get on the show, make sure you Super Chat. And we'll talk about whatever topic you want. You want to talk about Russell Wilson? You want to talk about Deontay Johnson? You want to talk about T. Higgins? You want to talk about whatever you want? We can talk about it today. Make sure you guys get those Super Chats in, and we'll talk about it. $5, we'll do Here We Go Steelers chants.
Here we go,
Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Gotta love it, man. Then $20, you'll get your name on the Steelers Helmet Hall of Fame that we're doing this offseason. Starting to fill up, man. So there's a bunch of people that have put in those $20 Super Chats. Appreciate all of your guys' support. $50, tortilla slaps today. Coop's not feeling 100% today, so only I am getting slapped today. So he will be doing the slapping, and I'm the one getting slapped for the $50 Super Chats today. And then $100, you get to join Steelers Talk Gold Club. Get a shout-out on every Steelers Talk live show, and you get an awesome Super Chat sticker on your Super Chats for life. So let's talk some Steelers, man.
Yeah, let's open it. We'll open it up to questions. Use hashtag Steelers.
Or Super Chat.
To get your question on the show, and we'll just talk some Steelers ball.
By the way, if you Super Chat, you skip the line,
yes,
and you immediately get on the show, okay? So we'll start with Kyle, who says, do you think Deontay Johnson is going to get traded? I don't know, Kyle. I think with all the reporting on the quarterback position this year, it kind of shows, Coop, that no one really knows what the Steelers are thinking this offseason. They're doing a really good job at keeping their cards close to the vest. And, I think it's possible for sure. Okay, I think if they get the deal that they're looking for, they're certainly open to it. They're taking calls. They might even be using Deontay as a trading piece to go out and get a guy like maybe a L'Jarius Sneed. We've talked about that on the show, Coop. So there's definitely a lot of possibilities. He's on the last year of his contract. I would say probably not the best overall fit in Arthur Smith's system. Arthur usually likes to have wide receivers that can block, all these different things. That's not DJ's game. And then also he's had the behavior issues and the kind of the rift between the team here lately. So I could definitely see him getting traded. And I could definitely see him being a trade piece to go out and get L'Jarius Sneed today, which would be a big-time blockbuster move by GM Omar Khan.
That would be awesome.
It would be that would be awesome, man. Having L'Jarius Sneed on one side, Joey Porter Jr. on the other side, then you get Bobby Wagner today. I'd be really, really happy if those were the two moves that they ended up making today. Got one from W. Repulse here. Says, let's make our own Legion of Boom with Justin Simmons, Minka, JPJ, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Bobby Wagner, and then our pass rush, man. I mean, we were talking about this last night, too, about that possibility.
That would be awesome.
It would just be awesome, man. I mean, I would probably maybe switch out Kool-Aid with L'Jarius Sneed, maybe, just because Kool-Aid, he's coming off that foot injury. He's still an unproven entity. But, man, absolutely. I mean, the situation right now with Russell Wilson coming to the Steelers, it's kind of like a Legion of Boom Seattle Seahawks setup where it's going to be defense, running the football, and then having Russell Wilson there to kind of make some plays here and there to help you get over the top. I think that's absolutely the perfect setup. And we got a super chat here, Mr. Austin Tardif, Gold Club member here, says, I give Wilson signing a B-. It's not so much his play as him as a person I have concerns about. I don't see him leading the players well. Well, I mean, he's a former man of the year, so he's a good person.
Yeah.
You know that he's a hard worker. No one takes care of their body better than him. And I really do think that all the stuff, all the negativity around Russ as a person or as a leader has come from the fact that the Broncos did not win these last two seasons, Coop. Because before he went to Denver, what did you only hear about Russell Wilson? That he was a great leader. That he was one of the best leaders, well-respected, one of the best leaders in football, right? I mean, a guy like Bobby Wagner, man, a future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, 10-time All-Pro, he's like his best friend. He says he's one of the best leaders he's ever been around. So I'm not too concerned with Russell Wilson. Here's another thing, Coop. When it comes to the personality, it's not going to be Russell Wilson's culture here in Pittsburgh. It's going to be Mike Tomlin's culture, and Russell Wilson is going to be a secondary element of it. So I'm not worried about Russ personally, Austin. I understand and I appreciate your perspective there. But personally, I actually feel pretty darn good about the Pittsburgh Steelers bringing in Russell Wilson. Then we got one from Nico here.
First super chat of the day.
Oh, that's right, $5 super chat. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Got one from Nico here. Says, would you rather have had Wilson or Fields? Wilson. It's not close. It's not close. Okay, Russell Wilson is the guy. Here's really the kicker for me. Here's why I think Wilson was the right guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are trying to win now. All right, Justin Fields, there's no guarantee that he ends up hitting. All right, he's struggled as a passer in his time in the NFL, and he has no playoff experience. So if you make the playoffs with Justin Fields this year, he's going up against Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, all these guys with playoff experience versus Justin Fields, who has none. The chances of quarterbacks that have not made the playoffs winning Super Bowls, extremely low probability. But Russell Wilson has played in 16 playoff games. He's played in 2 Super Bowls, nearly won both of them. All right? And the stats really do back up that he is still a borderline top 10 quarterback in this league, in my opinion, and he is, without a question, a top 15 quarterback, and that is a lot better than what the Steelers had to work with last year, and they were a 10-win team, and they were within a touchdown in a road playoff game against the Buffalo Bills. You look at the career resume right now, with Russell Wilson, man. This is something that, I mean, for $1.2 million, the most affordable option for the Steelers on the market, this is absolutely fantastic, man. You're getting a Super Bowl champion. So if he's in that position, like if he's in Arrowhead Stadium for the AFC Championship game and, you know, he has to go 75 yards, 2-minute drill, he needs a touchdown to win the game, I feel relatively confident he's going to be able to do that. All right, the moment is not going to be too big. He's been on every big stage there is in the National Football League, and his numbers in the clutch and his numbers overall are some of the best in league history. In my opinion, he's probably going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, Coop, and you're getting him for literally the vet minimum. I don't think there's ever been a value like this, all right? It's absolutely unbelievable.
Only the Pittsburgh Steelers have aura like this to be able to pull this off.
Only the con artist can pull this shit off, man. So we got a $5 super chat from a first-time super chatter here from Schlegel Bagel. Here's some Ric Flair drip. Woo! And he says, do you see Calvin Austin having a big role outside of return duties this year? And is Cole Holcomb on the hot seat? What is the dead money if cut? So Calvin Austin III, I think he's going to be wide receiver 4, and he's going to be the punt return man and probably kickoff return man possibly as well. So that's kind of where I see him. Right now he's more of a gadget receiver than a true every down receiver. He's kind of smaller, so he's not going to provide anything in terms of run blocking, which is what Arthur Smith really wants to do. So at the end of the day, I don't think Calvin Austin III is going to have a massive role in this offense, but I think it'll be good enough. Absolutely. As for Cole Holcomb, it's interesting because they don't have a timetable for his return. We all remember that gruesome injury that he had against the Titans last year, and we don't know when he's going to come back. If you cut him, I think post-June 1st, you can save $6 million, Coop. I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up real quick.
$6 million? Is that worth it?
I don't know, man.
I mean, I like Cole Holcomb.
I like him too. Plus, he's got 2 years left on his deal. I mean, I think they're probably going to keep him on the roster.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario where they cut him.
But I think they will sign another inside linebacker.
Yes.
Because Quan Alexander's a free agent, so you have to fill his spot anyway. And then I think they probably draft a rookie in like the middle rounds as well, like Cedric Gray or something like that. Like a really athletic, high upside linebacker to develop behind the starters that they have right now. So with Cole Holcomb, if it's pre-June 1st cut, the dead money is $3.28 million. You save $4.36. So, I mean, that's not great. But then if it's post-June 1st, you save $6 million, and the debt is only $1.64.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah, but I think Cole Holcomb's a valuable player.
Yeah, when healthy, and that's the thing. Like, is he going to be healthy? Like,
right.
Do you trust him to be healthy next year? And I don't know if I can trust him, but I think it's almost like a Corey Trice Jr. situation as well, where it's like you probably keep him on the roster and see what he's got in camp, but you might cut. I mean, if Cole Holcomb stinks in camp or if he's not ready to go by the season,
could be a post-June 1 cut.
He could be a cut. He could be a cut. Now, I do think he'll be on the roster. I don't think they're going to let him go today or anything like that, but yeah, Cole Holcomb is definitely going to be an interesting one to watch out for. Then we got a $20 super chat from Brian Haggis. Guess what, Brian? You're going on the helmet.
And he's a first-time super chatter as well.
So let's give him some Ric Flair drip. Woo!
Brian says, I think Queen would cost about the same as Snead. With the depth at corner in the draft, I like getting Queen, plus it weakens the Ravens. It definitely weakens the Ravens if Queen comes to a division rival. The problem is, I don't like spending that kind of money on a middle linebacker.
Yeah, I think Pro Football Focus is projecting he's going to make like $18.5 million. And that's so much.
That's too much for me.
The Steelers only have like $25 million right now.
Yes.
And granted, they can do restructures and all this stuff to create space, but they still need 2 starting corners. They still need a starting safety. All right, I don't think they need to be spending $18.5 million on Patrick Queen. I like Patrick Queen. He's a good player, but why not spend $4 million on Bobby Wagner, who would take a discount to come try to win a Super Bowl for the Steelers and play with his boy Russell Wilson and play with TJ Watt and play for Mike Tomlin? I feel like Bobby Wagner is the move at inside linebacker, no?
It seems like to me he's the more affordable option. He's the more experienced option. He still has a lot of game left. He's boys with Russell Wilson.
By the way, Bobby Wagner was a better linebacker than Patrick Queen last year.
Exactly.
Bobby Wagner was all pro. Patrick Queen was not.
I would love a Bobby Wagner. Patrick Queen, it just goes against my philosophy of who you pay. I just don't want to pay Patrick Queen
inside linebacker is a low-value position. I'm not sure if that's something I want to spend almost $20 million on when you don't have the cap space to be spending $20 million per season or per year on that position.
Shout out to Brian. Welcome into the show. Appreciate the first-time super chat.
Brian, Rio one, my friend. Thank you so much. And by the way, if Queen leaves the Ravens, that weakens them, period, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It doesn't matter who he goes
He doesn't have to come to the Steelers, right? And there's no way after paying Roquan $20 million a year that they're going to be paying Queen that kind of money.
Yeah, they're not going to put $40 million a year into
the linebacker. I mean, they're not the Chicago Bears,
right,
guys, all right? So let's go to Frogger, New York City here, who says, should get Tyler Boyd, Bobby Wagner, Kenny Moore, and Terrell Edmonds. I'd be happy with that.
I'd be happy with that, too. I think Kenny Moore is a really good fit for this defense, and then bringing back Edmonds to kind of play that hybrid role, I would like a lot.
I mean, yeah, we literally call it the Terrell Edmonds role.
Yeah.
He fits that role because it's his role. Like, he's that bigger, strong safety / linebacker hybrid that they brought in Keanu Neal to play last year, and it didn't work out. But I also like Jeremy Chin to potentially fill that role if you can get him for the right price. I think he would be an excellent fit. I still think he's got juice in the tank. But yeah, man, Tyler Boyd, bring back the Pittsburgh native, Pitt Panther. I think he'd be a great fit in Arthur Smith's system. Bobby Wagner trying to win a Super Bowl. Obviously, the Steelers are trying to win a championship right now with Russell Wilson. Bobby Wagner, I think, is a great short-term answer at inside linebacker. And then Kenny Moore, man, can play inside, can play outside. So with injuries, you could move him around. That's a very important piece right there. And then getting that linebacker safety hybrid, I think, would be really, really good
I'm in on
stuff.
that. Let's just go through all of the deals that have happened so far as we're about, 40 minutes away from the official tampering period beginning.
By the way, we're expecting to hear word on Kirk Cousins pretty darn early
I bet
today.
pretty quick. So it started early with Mike Evans going back to the Tampa Bay Bucks. And then you have Demarcus Robinson, Dalton Schultz, and Zach Ertz going to the Commanders.
Yeah, the name that definitely sticks out there, Mike Evans, obviously. A lot of people expected him to be available. I was kind of thinking that he was going to be a Kansas City Chief. But it seems like everyone there in Tampa is really happy with what they were able to do on offense last year with Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all the guys that they had there last year. They won a playoff game, so they're trying to run it back. They feel like they have momentum, and they're on the upward trajectory. Zach Ertz, also a really good fit with Cliff Kingsbury there in Washington. Cliff traded for him back when he was in Arizona. So a good one-year rental there. I still think the Commanders will probably take a tight end in the draft, though. Dalton Schultz, really good tight end as well. Good for C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I think both of those are going to be good deals. And Schultz made a home for himself there in Houston, so definitely.
Absolutely. Then, of course, Mitchell Trubisky signs a $5.25 million deal with Buffalo. Who has the better chance of winning a ring next year, Russell Wilson or Mitchell Trubisky?
Give me Russ.
Give me Russ. I love it, baby. Good for Mitch. I'm glad, I guess I'm glad that he landed on his feet. Just don't want him on my football team, all right?
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Jonnu Smith, a tight end that a lot of people expected to potentially come to the Steelers because of his connection with Arthur Smith, ends up going to the Dolphins, 2-year, $10 million deal. And then Tyrann Mathieu signs an extension with the Saints. Really good player there. Then Kaimi Fairbairn, arguably top 5, top 3 kicker. In the National Football League, gets a big extension with the Texans. Chukwuma Okorafor. What's
Bye,
up?
Chucks.
See ya, Chooks. See ya, buddy.
Stink, buddy.
I mean, our Patriots host, Nick Roloff, is getting really excited about
He
Chooks.
thinks that somehow that the Patriots are going to magically fix Chucks. Thing is, it ain't happening.
It's not happening, man. He stinks. And then Jalen Johnson, a guy a lot of Steelers fans had their eye on. Actually, really good value for the Chicago Bears there. For the current corner market, Jalen Johnson was the number 1 graded corner in football last year, according to Pro Football Focus. And you're getting him for $76 million over 4 years. That's a great deal.
And it took a while for them to get that deal done. There was talk that there might even be a trade there. I know they used the tag on him as well, but they got that extension done, so good on the Bears.
Yeah, good on the Bears there. Drew Tranquill, someone I had my eye on as a potential linebacker for the Steelers to go get. Super Bowl champion, goes back to the Chiefs. Kevin Dotson got a big deal.
Former Steeler.
I mean, Kevin Dotson, I think, is the perfect example of like Mike Tomlin's incompetence in terms of like he doesn't understand that some guys are just better on one side of the formation than the other. All right, he played left guard here. He's clearly a right guard. He's one of the best right guards in football, and we saw that because he went to LA, played right guard immediately, and he was one of the best guards in football. All right, so I think that it just sucks to see a guy of his caliber get wasted by the Pittsburgh Steelers because we could have had him. We wouldn't have had to sign Isaac Seumalo if he would have been just playing right guard this entire time. So that one kind of hurts a little bit there.
A little bit of a news alert coming in. It sounds like Michael Pittman Jr. and the Colts are expected to reach an agreement on a long-term deal today.
Okay, Michael Pittman Jr. back to the Colts. I know there were some people that were hoping that the Steelers were going to land him as the number 2 receiver.
Yep.
And probably trade Deontay Johnson after that deal. So that's another wide receiver target potentially off the board. Let's talk about Justin Madubuike, who's going back to the Ravens. Really good interior pass rusher.
Had a great season.
Had a great season last year. But, also, this isn't a prediction, but, would it shock me if Madubuike kind of just had like a flash in the pan season last year and like he's good but not like elite like he was last year?
I don't know if he's going to be one of the top 3 defensive tackles in the NFL, but they're paying him like that now. So.
Yeah, exactly. $98 million over 4 years. I mean, that's a lot more than Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, and then you see that deal, and then you take a look at the deal Chris Jones got as the best defensive tackle in the league.
Yeah.
$158.75 million.
And by the way, with Chris Jones getting that contract, L'Jarius Sneed is all but gone.
I kind of think so too, right?
Like you can't keep him.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Especially not on the franchise tag because it's $20 million alone for Sneed. So Sneed's going to get traded at some point. The question is, when is he going to get traded? I'm not too sure. And then also Mac Jones yesterday traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars, his actual hometown.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was from Jacksonville, so that's interesting.
To back up fellow 2021 draft class quarterback Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Mac Jones' career goes. I think he's a career backup at this point. It may be a little too early to say that.
I think he can get to the point where he's like a Jacoby Brissett, like a spot starter.
Yeah.
Decent high-end backup, but is he going up against Mahomes and Allen to win Super Bowls? Probably not, right? So that's where I'm at with Mac Jones. But overall, good fit for him in my opinion. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, if God forbid something happens to Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones can come in and keep their season afloat. All right, so let's have another word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks. And guys, football season is officially over. I know I'm just as sad as you are about it, but the action on the floor when it comes to college basketball and NBA basketball is just heating up. And whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with our friends at Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. How does it work, you ask? Here's how you play. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. So here is a college basketball entry here. You could go more on points, rebounds, three-pointers made, steals, blocks. They've got a bunch of different players and stat types to choose from, and they also have special promotions like their Demons and Goblins promotion, where the Demons are harder to get entries but higher payouts. Goblins are more likely to get entries with lower payouts. So they've got a bunch of great options for you guys to choose from. Let me tell you, we've been partnering with Prize Picks for about a year now, and I haven't been able to put it down. I love using it. I'm actually addicted to it, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Super fun. You're not going to regret it. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. To get started right now, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more or pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks. So now let's talk about Kevin Byard and Baker Mayfield here, the 2 names that really stick out to me. Byard, good safety, had an off year last year.
Regressed a little bit.
Regressed with Philly, but then again, everything was going wrong with that Philly defense last year. It was just terrible. And then Baker Mayfield, good for Baker, man. And listen, everybody thought Baker Mayfield was done.
Yeah.
Last year.
Credit to him, man.
And people saying Russell Wilson's career is done, I mean, I think Baker Mayfield is a walking, living testament that if you go to the right situation and the right fit, and I do think Russell Wilson is the right fit with the Steelers, I mean, a quarterback can get a lot better. And here's the thing. It's not like Russell Wilson was bad last year. He was actually pretty darn good last year. Had a higher passer rating than Patrick Mahomes. All right, that is a fact. All right, had a higher touchdown percentage than him as well.
But I'll say this. Baker 3 years for 100 or Wilson 1 for 1.21. Who
exactly.
you taking?
I mean, I had a lot of people reach out to me yesterday say, "Oh man, I wish we would have got Baker." It's
no way, not for
why would you rather get Baker?
Yeah.
At 1.2, I mean, Russell Wilson has like the same exact production as Kirk Cousins.
You said it. I think it might be the best value contract in the history of the NFL.
I'm not joking.
No.
I mean, you're getting a guy that had comparable numbers to Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins last year for $1.2 million. Kirk Cousins, the same age, same numbers, is going to be getting paid over $40 million today.
Crazy.
Guaranteed. And we're getting Russell Wilson for the vet minimum?
Are you joking?
Are you kidding me? At the most important position in sports?
Crazy.
Give me Russ. Give me Russ. Here's Mo Love. What's up, my friend? Good to see your face. Gold Club member Mo Love says, let's go Steelers. So excited for our Steelers team. How about dealing Najee Harris for some picks or to add from free agency? Last year was by far his best as a Steeler. Don't think they're going to trade Najee. They love him.
They like him a lot.
And here's the thing. If you're going to give one extension to the running backs, we talked about this last night too.
It should be Warren.
It should be Warren, in my opinion. Warren, because he was an undrafted free agent, you can extend him this year. I would do that if I were GM Omar Khan, because I think next year is going to be Jaylen Warren's year to really explode into like a superstar running back. I'd rather pay him now before he has that season, when he's going to be like worth a bunch of money and we can't afford him.
Fully agree.
So lock Jaylen Warren up, pick up Najee Harris's fifth-year option so you have both guys in your locker room the next 2 years. Just make it dead set right there.
And then you can see what it is after that with Najee. You probably let him go after that 5th year, but if it works out where you can sign an extension at a reasonable number, then you do it.
Exactly. And it's not like
there's no rush.
It's not like Najee Harris's role in the offense can't be replaced.
Exactly.
Jaylen Warren is way more irreplaceable because he does everything well.
Yep.
He's gotten an incredible cut. He's a great as a running back, true running back. He could be a number 1 running back in this league. He's a great receiver. He is a great blocker on third downs. He does everything for you, and I appreciate what Najee does. He's a good power back. He's a good kind of second option in my opinion, and somebody that is a good blocker as well, but he's not on the same level as Jaylen.
No, he's not.
So keep them both in the locker room the next 2 years. If you pick up the 5th-year option because he's a running back, it's not that much money to keep both of them on the team. So I think the next 2 years, you're going to be seeing a lot of Najee. You're going to be seeing a lot of Jaylen. And then once we get to 2026, we can have a conversation of what this running back room should look like from there on.
Our boy Damian Roy's in the chat. He says, good morning, Jack and Super Coop. Good morning to you, Damian Roy.
Good morning,
Damian. It's been a hell of a 12 hours here.
We got 340 people watching right now. I just looked down. I was like, oh, my gosh.
Let's go.
We're rolling today, fellas. All right, make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we're going to be covering the Russell Wilson era every single day for free right here on YouTube. Really do appreciate your guys' support.
If you're subscribed, I need you guys to type me down in the comments right now. Let us know that you're a real one. Subscribe to the channel. Let us know.
Yeah, we want to see who the real ones are. Everyone type me. We got RC Pawn, who's a real one. We got Damian Roy down there.
He says currently at work making Pepsi.
Making Pepsi.
Interesting.
Okay.
I see your boy Chumik, Teresa, Brian, Chad, Dominic, Damian, Alex, FX, Javi Berg, Frogger, Chosen, Nicholas, Zaire, Dante, your boy Chunks again. I see Pat. I see Zach. Get those me's down in the chat, baby. We appreciate you guys.
By the way, official numbers here for Colts and Michael Pittman Jr. 3 years, $71.5 million. It's a big contract.
That's a lot of money for him.
It's a lot of money, man. Yeah, I wouldn't have been willing to pay him that. No way.
No, I agree.
I would love to see the Steelers trade Deontay Johnson to the Chiefs today in exchange for L'Jarius Sneed. I would love to see Bobby Wagner become a Pittsburgh Steeler.
If you had to guess, is Deontay Johnson on this roster week 1?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell you because
it's kind of 50-50 right now.
Because it's going to depend on what the league says his trade value is.
Right.
I think the Steelers would want at least a high third-round pick in exchange for him. I think that's what the asking price is, and I think that they're okay keeping him if they don't get the price that they want.
And I'll say this: Michael Pittman getting 3 for $71. What is that? Means T. Higgins that is like an absolute starting point for him. He's going to get way more than that too.
Yeah, if it's 3 years, he'd make at least 80.
Yeah,
85.
And I'm not sure the Bengals are going to pay that.
No, there's no way. Well, he's demanded a trade.
Exactly. He requested a trade out of Cincy.
So he's probably going to be gone. Okay. So Bengals are cooked. We all know that. And now let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are on the up and up. 1-year contract, vet minimum for Russell Wilson, man. I mean, there's going to be every first-round rookie quarterback that gets drafted this year will be a higher cap hit. Well, Russell Wilson will make 39. So it's not like they'll be making more than him, but like a higher cap hit. And that's unbelievable.
Kenny Pickett has a higher cap hit than Russell Wilson.
Kenny Pickett has over double the cap hit next year for the Pittsburgh Steelers than Russell Wilson. This is if Russell Wilson works out, and like even if you make like the AFC Championship game and you're like competing for a Super Bowl, this is like the best signing of free agency period this year. I mean, to get a quarterback of his caliber at that price, it's unheard of in the National Football League. It's never happened before.
No, it's
literally
unheard
never happened in league history. All right, and it's not like he's making that money at that cap hit because he stinks. It's because Denver is paying him $39 million, and like if the more that he would have been paid by the Steelers, it wouldn't matter. He would have still made the same amount of money.
And by the way, the Steelers go 2 Mile High this year, so that'll be.
And by the way, we were talking about this last night. It's gonna be Monday Night Football Week 1, right?
It's gotta be, right?
It's gotta be Monday Night Football Week 1. Russell Wilson's first game as a Steeler, going to Mile High. That's what it has to be. All right. So also, Kendrick Bourne signed a 3-year deal, up to $33 million. Lots of incentives on that one. Zaire Franklin got a really big deal as well, Coop. I mean,
yes,
over $10 million per season there for Zaire Franklin. I don't know if I love that deal, to be completely honest with you. What's your feeling there?
Zaire Franklin, that seems like a lot of money, right?
That's a lot of money for Zaire Franklin.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I know the Colts
He's making over 10 times the amount of Russell Wilson.
When you think about it that way, it's just unbelievable.
I mean,
it really is.
The value with that Russell Wilson deal, it's just, it really is unthinkable, man. Like, it's such a great deal.
So this is from Steven Thompson. I know that you'll disagree with this, and it's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
He thinks Mike Tomlin's culture may not be that existent. What do you think?
Well, I mean, this team has had so much go wrong the last couple of seasons. The quarterback play has been absolute dog shit the last 2 years. Let's be completely honest. We didn't have a competent offensive coordinator. All right, and most head coaches with that situation, if you have an offensive coordinator and a quarterback that are both defective, those guys are not making the playoffs, and they're not even getting close. I mean, this is an offensive league. To get to over 500, which is what Mike Tomlin has been able to do these last 2 years with the way the offense is played, I mean, that just points to the culture and how strong it is here in Pittsburgh. All right? If you listen to any player that has been around Mike Tomlin, all of them will tell you he is the best leader that they have been around. He is the best locker room presence in maybe, I'm not going to say in the history of the National Football League, but probably in the league right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with you.
Whenever you do an anonymous poll of NFL players, which coach would you like to play for the most? Mike Tomlin is always number one. All right, so I absolutely do believe that Mike Tomlin's culture is alive and well. If you disagree with me, Steven, that's perfectly okay. That's why America is such a great country. All right, now we'll go to Damian Roy. $5 super chat. It says, thank you, Denver. We greatly appreciate y'all giving us Russell Wilson. We were talking about this yesterday as well, Coop. We'll do the Here We Go, Steelers. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. So we were talking about this yesterday as well. Like, Denver's fucked up here, man.
Well, the thing is that they didn't get rid of him because he was bad. They got rid of him because him and Sean Payton did not get along, and Sean Payton didn't like his fit and what he wants to do.
Exactly. Russell Wilson is not a Sean Payton-type quarterback, and I always thought that was a weird kind of marriage when Sean Payton, who could have gotten any job that he wanted, went to Denver with Russell Wilson. Like, he picked the team that Russell Wilson was on when he probably knew he wasn't going to be the fit for him. I just didn't understand that move from Sean. And now he's in really a pickle here because he's got a bunch of dead cap, $85 million over the next 2 years.
Like, are they going to run with Jarrett Stidham next year as their starter?
Well, I think they're actually going to go into the draft this year with Jarrett Stidham and maybe Mason Rudolph or something like that as their other backup.
That's not going to win you many games,
yeah,
Sean.
No, I know, and then they're going to draft a quarterback for the future like a Bo Nix.
I think that's a terrible mistake by Denver,
but,
being honest.
Here's the thing, man. Russell Wilson last year, it's not like he was bad.
He wasn't bad at all. We'll take a look at the stats.
Yeah, let's take a look at the stats from last year, man. Like, these are not bad numbers by any stretch of the imagination. Top 3 in adjusted completion percentage, so he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the National Football League. His on-target percentage was 6th. Really good right there. Big-time throw percentage was top 10 in the league. Passer rating was top 10 in the league last year. So, 15 games played. I definitely think Russell Wilson is somebody that played pretty darn well last year. All right, 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Doesn't turn the ball over. Somebody that can still push the ball downfield. And if you watch Russell Wilson's film from last year, and I have watched about 5 or 6 games of Russell Wilson from last year, just getting ready for this potential move because it has seemed for the last week that this was going to be the move. So I've been watching a lot of Russell Wilson tape with Denver, and it was incredibly obvious that Sean Payton was not using Russell Wilson in the way you should be using Russell Wilson. He's not letting him throw the ball down the field. He's not letting him do the things that Russ does well. And when Russ does do those things, when he does throw the moon ball, when he does throw the ball down the field off of play action, it's still beautiful, man. He's still got that deep ball, and he can still throw it 60 yards down the field, Coop.
Yeah, he's still got a rocket, man. And when you just look at the resume, it speaks for itself. Super Bowl champion, 10th in game-winning drives, 9th and 4th quarter comebacks.
That's NFL history, by the way.
NFL history.
That's not among current quarterbacks. That's among NFL history. And here's the thing, guys. Here's another thing that gets me excited about Russell Wilson. He takes care of his body better than anybody in the sport. So we've seen guys play until they're 40, 41. In Tom Brady's case, like 40-5. All right? Russell Wilson says he wants to play at least 5 more years in the National Football League. And with the way he takes care of his body, the way that he invests in his body, he could absolutely do it. And he could do it right here in Pittsburgh.
Fully agree, man. I think it's an awesome signing for the Steelers. I wish it was September already, man. I want to play some football.
I mean, that first week where we get to see Russell Wilson play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, it's going to be unbelievable.
It's going to be unbelievable. It's just going to be absolute electricity. And even if the Steelers don't win the Super Bowl next year, it's going to be one of the most interesting seasons in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers football franchise. Period.
Absolutely.
It's just going to be absolute must-watch TV. Here's our Super Chat menu in case that you just joined us here. Any Super Chat, you get on the show. We'll talk about whatever topic you want. All right? Also, hashtag Steelers if you have a question or a comment. But Super Chats, skip the line right at the top, just so you guys know. $5 Super Chats, we'll do some Here We Go Steelers. We'll bring out the terrible towels. $20 Super Chats, you get your name on the...
Which you need to put Mo Love on if you haven't.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think Mo is on here.
Yeah,
so
put Mo Love on there.
I'll put Mo Love on the helmet here.
$50, I'll be slapping Jack with the tortilla. I'm a little under the weather today, so no tortilla slaps for myself. It's been a long 12 hours, I'll just say that.
Yeah, man, it's been absolutely crazy. 15 minutes away from the start of free agency.
Yes,
when we start hearing who goes where. And by the way, apparently, according to a report, the Steelers made an aggressive push to sign Mitch Morse.
Interesting.
The center that eventually went to Jacksonville and signed with them. So I'm guessing the contract figures wasn't what Mitch was looking for.
I'm looking at a guy like Aaron Brewer from Tennessee.
Me too. I think Aaron Brewer is a good fit. But with Mitch Morse, I mean, they might be looking to get someone even older than Aaron Brewer. And they're looking to draft somebody in the draft. That's certainly possible. Lots of great centers in this year's draft class. $5 super chat here from Phantom TV. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. So he says, why is no one talking about Jacob Cowing and Jalen Coker and how unreal their tape is? Jacob Cowing from Arizona is pretty dynamic, but I think he's pretty tiny, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look that up right now. Pretty sure he's a smaller receiver, kind of like a scat gadget type receiver. Let me check here.
We appreciate you, Phantom. In the meantime,
Well, he's 5'11", so he's not necessarily super short. It's like Deontay Johnson height, but he's 174. I like Cowing. I think he'd be a good fit, actually. And then we got President Ninny here. Says, I'm going to miss Mason, rather lose Kenny. Y'all rock.
shout out to you, President Nitty.
President Nitty, shout out to you, man. You're one of the real ones out there. I'm going to miss Mason too, man. The thing about Mason is that he is a Steelers legend for life.
He's a good guy, man.
For what he did last year, he will always have a special place in my heart.
I agree.
But this is a business. And as Mike Tomlin likes to say, our business is winning. And winning championships here in the city of Pittsburgh. And is Mason Rudolph ever going to be the guy that gets you to that point? Maybe, but I would say the chances are not as high as a guy like Russell Wilson, who has been there in those big moments and has done that, whereas Mason Rudolph played well in those 3 games, but who did he play? He played the 31st ranked defense that even Kenny Pickett looked good against, By the way. You go up against the 30th ranked defense in Seattle.
But where I want to give Rudolph credit is I don't think he played a snap in 2022, right?
No, he did not.
So he didn't play a snap in 22, and then he didn't play until late in 23. So he almost had 2 full years off of football, and he came in and led this team to the playoffs.
Yeah, and credit where credit's due. He's gonna find a home somewhere. He's gonna be a backup or a bridge starter somewhere, and he's gonna be fine. So with Jerry Dulac crying about it on Twitter last night, saying, "Oh, Mason deserves better," I mean, they gave him a shot.
Shit.
They gave him his shot, and he got what. I mean, the Steelers provided him an opportunity last year when nobody else was willing to give him an opportunity. All right, he tested the free agency market. Literally nobody wanted him. He said himself he was about to start selling insurance. Then the Steelers give him a call, say, "Hey, you can be our 3rd string quarterback this year." And he takes the opportunity, and then what happens? He gets a chance to play. He plays in a fucking playoff game, and now he's going to be a quarterback in the National Football League for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
the Steelers don't owe him anything.
They don't owe him anything, and vice versa. He doesn't owe the Steelers anything. He's going to go find himself a new home and hopefully be in the league for a long time.
And by the way, Russell Wilson, according to the report from Jerry Dulac of what it would have costed to get Mason Rudolph, 2 years, $10 million, total $5 million per season. That's over 4 times as expensive as what they're going to be paying Russell Wilson next year.
Yeah, I think
it's a no-brainer decision.
If they find a 3rd QB, I think it's going to be a UDFA. I know Omar Khan wants to bring 4 quarterbacks in, right, to training camp. So we'll see what route they go, but I would imagine it's going to be guys that you probably haven't heard of before.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty decent assumption. $2 super chat from my man Hot Rod 24, Gold Club member here. Says, "What's up, Coop and Sperry? I'm happy we got Russ."
We are too, brother.
We are too, man. We are stoked for this season. If you guys thought last season was fun, oh my gosh, with Russell Wilson in black and gold, it's going to be just sent to a whole nother level here on Steelers Talk. $5 super chat here from Phantom TV. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. He says, Steve Smith says Coker is the best route runner in the draft, and he's yet to be wrong about a wide receiver in his breakdowns. And listen, man, I like Coker too.
Yeah.
All right? There's a lot of really good receivers in this year's draft class. I'm a big fan of Malik Washington out of Virginia. I think I've taken him in every single...
You've taken him in a lot of mock drafts.
I think I've taken him in literally every single Steelers mock draft I've done this year, so I'm a big fan of Malik. So when it comes to Coker, man, I think he's a really good player. I don't know if he's a first-round guy just because of the amount of, like, super high-end talent there is.
There's a lot of receivers in the draft.
And, Steve Smith says that he's the best route runner in the draft. I think that there are some really good route runners, okay? Marvin Harrison Jr. is an unbelievable route runner. Malik Neighbors is an incredible route runner. Roma Dunze is an incredible route runner, all right? Ladd McConkey out of Georgia, unbelievable.
No doubt.
All right, at the Senior Bowl, he was cooking people.
He's a beast.
Ricky Pearsall out of Florida, your guy, really good route runner as well. So, listen, man, this is the year of the wide receiver. There's going to be wide receivers that are going to be really good starters in this league that you can get in round 3, round 4, maybe even round 5 this year. There's going to be a lot of steals, and Coker's definitely somebody that could be it. Here's a black diamond. Our friend, His Royal Highness himself, Kyle King, with a $5 super chat. You want to read that, Coop?
He says, I got a chance to sit in a box with Mason's family for his game in Pittsburgh. Had no clue they'd be there. Mason definitely deserves a different opportunity elsewhere. That's pretty cool, man.
That is really cool.
I do agree. I think Mason deserves a different opportunity to be a QB2 somewhere else.
And he's going to get that.
He will get it. It's not going to be in Pittsburgh, and yeah, that sucks because we like Mason as a guy, but it's time to move on, and you know what? Good for Mason for establishing himself as an NFL QB.
Exactly. And by the way, if he would have won the playoff game against Buffalo, I'd probably be in favor of bringing him back.
Yeah.
Because if you're beating Josh Allen on the road in the postseason, maybe we can start talking about you like you might be something as a playoff threat with this team. But he didn't. He threw that interception in the red zone. He didn't play well enough, unfortunately, and now we're in a position where we just can't trust that he's going to be that guy to deliver a Super Bowl, whereas I think Russell Wilson on the vet minimum gives them a better chance.
This is a funny super chat. I'm going to let you read this.
We got a $10 super chat from Glenn James. First time super chat. Let's give him some Ric Flair drip. Woo! Says, Sperry, you annoyed the hell out of me when you first came out. Today, you are a top 5 most educated in Steelers reporting. Good job. Your reporting gets me pumped for Steelers ball.
Thank you, Glenn.
Glenn James, I will be the first one to admit this is my first job out of college, man.
No doubt.
Like,
we've been working.
And this platform and this kind of because we have the headset. Coop's talking in my ear all the time. I have to look at the camera. We've got a little monitor right here where I can see my graphics. There's a lot to kind of get used to when you first start this job. And a lot of people struggle first couple weeks, months,
Absolutely.
whatever, because it's a difficult business, and you really can't learn this system in college, right? So you have to learn it on the job, on the fly. And I'll be the first one to admit, my first couple months on this show, I was terrible, man.
Nothing prepares you for this, man.
I was always looking down. I didn't know what to do with my hands. There was a bunch of stuff that was just not good. But I do pride myself on doing my best to get better every single day and give you guys my very best every single day in terms of the research that I do, the film study that I do every single day, everything that I do to make this the best damn Steelers channel on YouTube.
That's why you subscribe.
That's why you subscribe to the channel, man. We had the Russell Wilson scoop a month before they signed him.
We did, and I believe we were the first on YouTube to do a breaking news video. Like less than 5 minutes.
It was like 2 minutes after the news broke. We had a video out.
The video was out on the channel.
So, I mean, that's the kind of work that we put in for you guys. Glenn, I appreciate your super chat, and I appreciate your compliment, man. Really trying to do my best to give you guys the best content.
Let's run through these last 2 super chats, then we have to do one more ad read, and then we'll get to the start of free agency.
All right, 5 minutes away from the start of free agency. $2 super chat. Taj Washington is a monster too. I like Taj Washington. Very fast, shifty player.
I'm not familiar with Taj's work.
USC.
Okay.
So he was with Caleb and Brendan Rice as well. Shifty player. I like Taj Washington a lot too. Then we got first-time super chat here from Regis Anderson. What's up, Regis? Give him some Ric Flair drip. Woo! Appreciate you, Regis. Thank you for that $2 super chat. By the way, if you want us to talk about a topic, send in another super chat and give us a question, a comment, whatever. And, free agency is going to be coming up here in just a second. But before we break that down, check out our friends at Prize Picks today. Download the Prize Picks app and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Football season is over, but the action on the floor for college and professional basketball is just heating up. It is March, folks. It's absolutely the best time of the year to be a basketball fan. So whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court in the NBA, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. Now, you might be asking yourselves, Jack, how do you play? Well, here's how you play. Pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. This is actually one of the NHL projections that we have here at Chat Sports. So you can go points, you can go assists, you can go saves for goalies, you can
shots on goal,
shots on goal, ice time, anything. If you're a big hockey fan, if you're a basketball fan, if you're a NASCAR fan, they got NASCAR on there, all right? So they got everything that you could possibly want. It's absolutely just awesome experience, man. I can't recommend it more. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the Prize Picks app today to use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks, so you can get your picks in for tonight's matchups. Again, download the app today, Prize Picks app, and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more or pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks.
Shout out to Prize Picks. We absolutely love playing it.
Shout out to Prize Picks. It really does spice up game days here at Chat Sports. That's
oh,
for
yeah.
damn sure. All right, so let's talk about this before things kick off in about 3 minutes for the legal tampering period for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the rest of the NFL. How many games do you think that the Steelers will win next year with Russell Wilson? Because he won 10 last year with one of the worst offenses in football.
We went through the schedule last night. 13's not out of the question.
Yeah, we went through the schedule, and we came up with 13 wins, but then we subtracted one because you always have the Mike Tomlin trap game. So 12 wins.
12 is realistic, man.
And by the way, 12's going to get you close to the Ravens in terms of division crown.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the Bengals take a step back because they're going to lose Tyler Boyd, potentially lose T. Higgins and Joe Mixon
and by the way, when Joe Burrow was playing this year, I know he was dealing with like a little bit of an injury this year, but he wasn't – I mean, his numbers were comparable to Jake Browning this year. So it's not like Joe – don't get me wrong, Joe Shiesty can be nasty, especially in the clutch. But like
he's tough for sure.
Especially when he's paired up with Jamar Chase. But it looks like he's not going to have T. Higgins. He's not going to have Tyler Boyd. He's not going to have Joe Mixon. And the defense last year was straight up dog crap. 31st in the league in scoring defense last year. Terrible.
It was bad, man.
Terrible.
It really was.
Terrible.
Terrible.
All right, so I think the Bengals take a step down. I think the Browns, they have a good defense, but it looks like they might have to trade Greg Newsome because Deshaun Watson's cap hit is getting so damn high.
And he stinks?
And he's like Kenny Pickett level bad. Like he is so bad. Like his numbers last year were just slightly better than Kenny Pickett's. And Browns fans are laughing at us for signing Russell Wilson at the vet minimum?
Are you joking?
Russell Wilson was way better than Deshaun Watson last year. I don't know what the hell Browns fans are talking about.
All right, we are 1 minute away from the start of NFL free agency. If you're ready, spam go down in the comments. Let's get that chat going, baby. Let's go.
Get those goes in the chat, baby. Let's get it going.
I see Nicholas FX. I see Frogger in there. He's doing his part. Let's go, baby. George, Teresa, RC, 540, Yogi, Zach, Hot Rod, Jeff, Chad, Steven, Dwayne, Mr. Deadhead. Believe that. Let's go, baby. Kyle King as well. It's time, baby. NFL free agency is here.
It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. We're going to probably hear something about Kirk Cousins in the coming moments here. It looks like he's going to talk with the Atlanta Falcons and then go back to the Minnesota Vikings, see if they'll match their offer. I still think he's going to be a Minnesota Viking, Coop, but it's certainly possible that he's going to end up going to Atlanta, so that's going to be an interesting storyline. Will Bobby Wagner sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers today? He's best buds with Russell Wilson. Can get him for $4 million. He's made 10 straight All-Pro teams. Come to Pittsburgh and win a freaking Super Bowl, Bobby Wagner. Let's go. Let's get it going, baby. $5 super chat here from Envy75. Let's go, man. It says, I can't wait to see Sierra in black and gold.
I was waiting for that.
Waiting for the Sierra?
Waiting for the Sierra
this
talk.
This one's not the right one.
Oh, wrong one. My bad.
Yeah, this is the wrong one.
Envy.
Envy75 here Says, I can't wait to see Sierra in black and gold. Russ will do better this upcoming season with the weapons we have in the roster and our vicious defense. And it's like, man, you look at his numbers last year with what he had to work with. Javonte Williams was hurt for most of the season. Jerry Jeudy, not a good contested catch receiver at all.
He had to deal with a lot, and he still was
tight
able
ends.
to do...
I mean, his tight end was a straight-up nobody last year. And he had Cortland Sutton, who's a good player, Coop. No doubt about it, but like these numbers, when he had to carry the Denver Broncos offense last year, went 6-1 during a stretch during the season where he beat Josh Allen on the road, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and the Browns defense. It's just a really good run. He played good football last year, and now he's going into a situation where he's got multiple really good receiving weapons. He's got 2 really good running backs. It's going to be a revamped offensive line. And then we all know how good the defense is. So I really believe that Russell Wilson is going to be a success here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if he does hit, and he does have that success, this is arguably this is probably a top 5 team in the National Football League next year, Coop, and they're going to be legitimate contenders even in a loaded AFC conference.
I agree. All right, Barry, we have breaking news here from Adam Schefter. It appears the Bears are going to make a heavy push for DeAndre Swift, and he is expected to be a primary Chicago target.
Okay, so that's interesting. We've heard some Saquon Barkley buzz around Chicago. We know that they're searching for a new running back. DeAndre Swift, man, I'm surprised Philly's letting him go. I think that he's really good. I think that he's got the versatility. He's got good size. He can catch the football. All these different things. He does a really good job.
He might get paid, though, and I think that's kind of why Philly is a little scared.
Fair enough. Howie Roseman is somebody that likes to be pretty frugal at that position. He likes to spend money in certain positions. Running back isn't necessarily one of them.
And they just gave Landon Dickerson a huge deal here this morning.
Yes,
four
they
years,
did. Landon
$84 million.
Jesus, man. What a freaking contract that is, man. So we got a couple super chats that have rolled in here. Dominic Schrader comes in with a $5 super chat, and he says, sign both Justin Simmons, Isaiah/Justin, and Kenny Moore. Justin's contract could be similar last to Byard's, draft Mims in the first, and SVP in the third. I'd be okay with that. I like, Justin Simmons, you could definitely make an argument, isn't the best overall fit just because he plays Minkah Fitzpatrick's role, free safety. All right, so unless you want to put Minkah in the box, which I don't, Simmons, I'm not sure is like the best fit in the world. And if he's not the best fit in the world, I don't want to pay him 13, 14, whatever
That's what
million
I was
that he's going to be cost.
I think the cost is too much for me because I don't think he's the best fit. Plus, we already have Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I think that if you get like a Julian Blackmon or something along those lines, there's a lot of good safeties this year, man. It's not like the Steelers would need to get Justin Simmons to be a good defense next year. You just need somebody that's big enough to play in the box, is a good enough tackler, and he's good enough in coverage. You don't need a superstar player in that position. I'd probably rather spend that money elsewhere, but I love the idea. Maybe even getting Isaiah Simmons. That's a name.
That would be nice.
That's a name I haven't really seen thrown around lately, but he is a free agent, and he's versatile. He can play that hybrid linebacker safety role.
I like Isaiah Simmons, man.
I kind of like that fit in the Steelers. Dominic, that's a really good connection right there, my friend. That's a good pull right there. And he also says Justin's contract could be similar to Byard's. I think Justin is going to be more.
I bet he gets a little bit more than Byard.
More interceptions. He has more all-pro teams. Justin Simmons is a better player than Kevin Byard, all right? So I don't think it's going to be similar to Byard's at all. I think Justin had a really good season last year, whereas Byard kind of fell off. So I think that Justin's contract is going to be close to probably $15 million today.
I'd agree.
So I don't know if the Steelers want to pay that much. I'm cool with Amarius Mims. I think he's a monster. I think he's a top 4 offensive tackle prospect in this year's NFL draft. Really good player. No problems with that. And then Cedric Van Pran is a perfect fit as well. So like that plan there, Dominic. Very good stuff. Really appreciate you. $5 super chat from Phantom TV. Says, I hope we draft Penix to be our Jordan Love under Russ. Get Kenny out of Pittsburgh. I don't think that's going to happen, Coop.
I don't think they're going to spend a first-round pick on a QB.
I actually think they still kind of believe in KP. Like, to an extent.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think that, based on the reporting I've seen, it seems like the Steelers do like Kenny Pickett, and the reason why they brought in Russell Wilson is because it was an offer they simply couldn't refuse. Getting a player of Russell's caliber for $1.2 million compared to what you have in Kenny Pickett, it was just something they couldn't refuse to not get. So I do think Kenny's going to be here next year, and I do think that he's going to be a backup for next season, and they're going to maybe hold out hope that he can still be the franchise quarterback here. Because remember, it's just a one-year deal for Russell Wilson.
It is. But if Russ is good enough, I could see a scenario where the Steelers extend him before the season even ends.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. If the Steelers are like 8-2 to like the first 10 games of the year, and they're cooking with Russ, I think they extend him for multiple seasons.
Yeah, I agree.
They might give him a 2-3 year extension if he starts really balling out here in Pittsburgh. And honestly, guys, with the way he takes care of his body, there's no one that takes care of his body better than Russell Wilson in the National Football League. I could see him play another 5 years of good football.
That'd be crazy. I could see it too, though.
And with his experience, with his ability to make plays and, extend plays and be a playmaker, I think that Arthur Smith in this offense, the scheme and this talent, great fit all around. I think this is going to be a massive success for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it might end in a 7th Lombardi trophy at the end of next season.
Let's go get number 7, baby.
Let's go get number 7, baby. Steeler Lee with a $2 super chat says bring back Terrell Edmunds for Minka.
Well, I would like to bring back Terrell Edmunds, but you don't have to replace Minka with him.
No. What he's saying is like the two of them work so well together.
Oh, okay. I see.
And Steeler Lee, I'd be okay with bringing back Terrell Edmunds. Maybe, I'd rather get 2 safeties because, it's interesting because Eric Rowe is a free agent. They might want to bring him back. Eric Rowe played really well last year. Could get him for a super cheap contract to be a 3rd safety. So Terrell Edmunds, definitely a name to be watching out for. He's a cheap safety option that we know works in this defense, or at least to some degree. But I do think if Terrell Edmunds is brought in here, it's going to be more as like a Keanu Neal kind of role where it's like safety, linebacker hybrid, and then there's going to be somebody else as the true starting strong safety. So that's what I would say. Not opposed to bring back Terrell Edmunds at all, though. Steeler mentality, big guy, could definitely be a contributor for this defense next year.
Be sure to hit that thumbs up icon on the video. Like the video, fellas. We have 425 people watching.
Get over 400 people watching, only 115.
We need to get to 200 likes right now.
You know what? Type me in the chat if you have clicked that thumbs up icon. I want to see who the real ones are that have clicked that thumbs up icon and liked the video. Because all the real ones know that clicking that thumbs up icon is the easiest way to help out the channel. I see. You want to give some shout outs here, Coop?
I'll give some shout outs, but I want you to talk about the guy on our screen right now, Mitch Morse, who apparently the Steelers pursued.
Oh yeah, so Mitch Morse had a visit the same day as Russell Wilson. The same day Russ came in, they had a visit with Mitch Morse. Apparently, we're aggressively going after him, but apparently the contract wasn't good enough, and he ended up going to Jacksonville, and they gave him a 2-year, $10.5 million contract. So if Pittsburgh wasn't willing to give Mitch Morse like $5.25 million per season, that kind of tells you how much they're willing to spend in free agency on a center this year. So Aaron Brewer is expected to make 6.67, Coop.
Yep.
So are they willing to pay that kind of money, or are they looking for more of a cheaper option and then drafting a rookie to kind of be the future at that position?
Yeah, they might want to find a cheaper option, but I think Aaron Brewer would be a really good fit. I see Nicholas, I see Dylan, Schlegelbagel, Cooper, President Nitty, your boy Chumik, Kyle as well, Glenn, Sam, everybody type it in their me's if you've liked the video. We appreciate you guys so much. We're keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Steelers free agency news and rumors around the NFL as well. We are officially in the legal tampering period, so deals can be negotiated and agreed to. Can't be officially signed until Wednesday, which is when Russ will officially sign his contract and become a Steeler. I would imagine a press conference will happen Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
And we'll keep you up to date on what's going on there.
Russ will sign his contract on Wednesday. That's the start of the new league year. So I'm guessing if he's coming to Pittsburgh to sign the contract, that's when they'll do the press conference. So we might go live for that, TBD. But we'll for sure have coverage of that and our reaction to everything Russ has to say and Mike Tomlin has to say.
I just saw a hilarious tweet from a Steelers fan on Twitter. He said, I just deleted all of Future songs off my phone because of the Future and Sierra thing. No more Future listening to if you're a Steelers fan.
It's officially personal with the Yinzers, baby.
Absolutely.
It's officially personal with the Yinzers, man. I'm so excited. What free agent do you want the Steelers to sign this year?
I see a lot of Xavier McKinney in the chat. I've noticed that a few times. What do you think about Xavier McKinney?
He's a good fit, very versatile, bigger safety that can play strong safety, can play free safety, can play even as a slot corner from time to time.
You would put him in a nickel as well?
You could. I think he's best as a box safety, personally, but he played a lot of free safety for the Giants last year. He's very versatile, and he's a hard hitter. He fits what the Steelers want to do. But my issue with him is the same issue I have with Justin Simmons. It's too expensive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, if you already have Minkah Fitzpatrick, do you really need another, high-end, high-paid safety? I think the Steelers are already paying enough on the defensive side of the ball. If anything, let's go spend some money on offense.
Yeah, I think that's where they should spend the bulk of their salary cap
Honestly,
money for sure.
I want to. What I would do if I'm GM Omar Khan is I am spending money on a center that I know is going to be able to deliver the goods for you next year. Because let's face it, guys. Let's acknowledge reality when it comes to the Steelers' offense next year. You have to have a good offensive line because this offense is going to be relying on the run game with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren running behind that offensive line. And if you don't have an offensive line that can block for you, all that planning, all of what we're planning and what we're hoping for this next season goes out the window. So you need to make sure you get the offensive line right if you are GM Omar Khan.
Wow, the Bears are going to sign DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift on his way to the Chicago Bears.
A 3-year, $24 million deal for DeAndre Swift.
So $8 million a year. Not bad.
That's reasonable.
It's reasonable.
I see a lot of C.J. Gardner-Johnson in the chat as well.
He's another good fit, man.
Tyler Boyd, Kenny Moore.
And this is what we're talking about, man. You can get C.J. Gardner-Johnson for like $5 million. Why would we pay $15 million for Justin Simmons, who's not even like a true strong safety, which is what we need?
The same goes for Cam Curl. I think he'd get a lot of money as well.
Yeah, Cam will probably get at least 12. He's a good fit, though. There's a lot of good safeties this year. This is why I don't want to spend a lot on one.
I think if the Steelers...
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have Minkah Fitzpatrick. 100%. Like, you already have Minkah, and there's a lot of good safeties that you could get for, like, less than $6 million. Let's go get one of those guys instead of breaking the bank for a position we already have an elite player in.
I think if the Steelers have a big move left in them, I think it's trading Deontay Johnson for L'Jarius Sneed. That's what I think it is.
I would agree. And, it's definitely possible that they just trade Deontay for, like, a third-round pick as well.
Absolutely.
That's very possible as well. So, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I hope Bobby Wagner is a Pittsburgh Steeler today. I hope Russ got on the horn last night and said, hey, Bobby, I'm going to Pittsburgh. We're going to go try win a Super Bowl. Be the captain of our defense next year. I mean, of course, Cam is our captain. Don't get me wrong. But, that's an excellent, excellent locker room leader that you would be adding to the middle of your defense. And by the way, if you add Bobby Wagner, who is expected to make $4 million next year, by the way, so he's a super affordable option because he's trying to win Super Bowls right now, you would have an elite player at every single positional group on the defense, Coop.
Absolutely.
Because you have T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith on the edge. You have Cam Hayward on the inside. Keanu Benson, I think, is going to have a huge breakout season in year 2. Then you have Joey Porter Jr. at corner. You have Minkah Fitzpatrick at safety. And then you would be adding Bobby Wagner in the middle of the field in your linebacker room. All right, that might be the best defense in the National Football League next year if you add Bobby Wagner. For me, I mean, there's a lot of people in my Twitter replies yesterday saying, oh, Bobby Wagner's too old. We're trying to get younger on defense.
Brother, we're trying to win today.
It's like, dude, we're trying to win now. And Bobby Wagner can really help us win now. He takes our defense to another level. So that's the guy that I want, man.
All right, I'll be right back. I got to run to the restroom.
All right, Coop's got to use the bathroom real quick. So here's a question from Kian Larkin. It says, Steelers need to get more Jerome Baker, Trent Brown, C.J. Gardner, Johnson, and Boyd, and trade Deontay Johnson. Yeah, I like Trent Brown. He's got some behavior issues, some personality issues at times, but he was a top 10 graded tackle in football last year on the left side of the Patriots offensive line, and he's a good player. So, and I think Mike Tomlin can rein in his personality, if you know what I'm saying. So I'd be perfectly okay with Trent Brown, especially for a decent deal. And really here, Kian, I like this plan here. You get L'Jarius Sneed to put on the other side of JPJ, get a really good corner duo there. Deontay Johnson, who's no longer a fit, is sent elsewhere. You replace him with Tyler Boyd. That still allows you to draft a new wide receiver this year early in the draft. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is that versatile type player that Steelers love, man. I could certainly see C.J. Gardner-Johnson being a Steeler. He's a trash talker. He can play strong safety. He can play in the slot. Very versatile player, hard hitter. He's got Pittsburgh Steeler written all over him as well. And then I like Kenny Moore as well as a nickel corner. And then Jerome Baker, I could definitely do Jerome Baker. Bring Jerome and Landon Roberts back together. I could certainly see that happening. I would rather go and get Bobby Wagner personally, just because I think that he's a better player than Jerome Baker is right now, and he would be cheaper as somebody that would take a discount to come play for a Super Bowl contender like the Steelers. So that's what I would say right now. But I mean, and by the way, Kian says send out first and second to get pick 9 and draft a Dunze. The only problem is with this, Kian, you don't have a center. You don't have a center in that plan. So are we taking a center in round 3? Is that the plan? Because that could happen. Cedric Van Pran could get to round 3, I guess. But, I like a Dunze. But honestly, guys, I don't think the Steelers need to trade up for a Dunze. There is a ton of really good receivers. You already have a true number 1 guy in George Pickens, so it's not like you're drafting a wide receiver to be the number 1 guy here like you would with a Dunze. And I get that pairing a Dunze with Pickens would be just unbelievable, but also Pickens and Keon Coleman, for example, or Adonai Mitchell out of Texas, to Coop's guy. That would be awesome, right? So, I don't think you need to trade up for a receiver personally, but you know what, man? I'm not going to complain if this is actually what ends up happening. Good plan, Kian.
Here's our Super Chat menu. If you are just now joining us, we are live for 2024 NFL free agency. Any Super Chat will give you a shout-out. 5 will give you a, here we go, Steelers. 20, you'll get your name on the Helmet Hall of Fame. It looks like it's filling up pretty quick there, Spare Dog.
Yeah, this helmet, man, there's still space, don't get me wrong. There's still plenty of space for people to get their names on, but it's starting to fill up quickly, man. So make sure you get those 20s in. We'll answer a question for you. We'll get your name on the helmet. Let's get it going, baby. We got a bunch of people in the chat. I see X Concepts. What's up, man? We got Nathan. We got Frogger, New York City. We got President Nitty. We got Grizzman, Hot Rod 24, Obi-Wan Kenobi, David Bowers, Darwin Nolan, Christian Andujar, Mike G, Lil Slush. We got the whole crew here today, man.
Squad's here.
Squad is here on the day after the Pittsburgh Steelers lock up Russell Wilson.
The Steelers made their move already.
Yeah, they made their big move, and honestly, I don't know, man. There might be another big move.
Could be another one. It remains to be seen.
Could be another big move today, man. Deontay for L'Jarius, I think, would be a great move for the Pittsburgh Steelers
I
today.
agree.
But I guess we'll have to see. DeAndre Swift heading to the Chicago Bears for $8 million per season, $24 million total over 3 years, 15.3 of it being guaranteed. Pretty good contract for DeAndre.
And he becomes basically their number 1 running back, so.
Oh, yeah, no question. And, they're going to draft. That's what the pick should be for them.
Although, if you ask our good friend of the show, Antonio Brown, he says that they are not going to draft Caleb Williams, and they're going to trade the first pick.
Yeah, CTESPN doesn't know what they're talking about over
sure?
there, man. So here's something to discuss with the Bears, Coop. What's going to happen with Justin Fields? Because obviously he's not going to be – well, I don't think he's going to be coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Steeler anymore. It sounds like Atlanta's going to go in the direction of Kirk Cousins. So that leaves the Seattle Seahawks, maybe the Raiders. Raiders obviously have Luke Getsy, who was his offensive coordinator last year.
You know who I predicted Justin Fields
The
to
New
go
York
to?
Giants.
The New York Giants.
That's an option.
I think that Justin Fields' best chance in this league is with a guy like Brian Dable, who developed a very raw Josh Allen in Buffalo. If you remember, Josh Allen's first 2 seasons in the league were very hit or miss.
Yes, they were.
He was not a good quarterback until his 3rd year.
He was a raw prospect coming out of Wyoming.
Yeah, and then, first 2 years, very raw still. And then Brian Dable comes in year 3, and all of a sudden he is a superstar, and he's second in MVP voting that year. So, Justin Fields, with the kind of talent he has, I think that he would work out well in New York. I think he's already dealt with the big city, big media market pressure of Chicago. So I think it would fit. He can handle that kind of media. Daniel Jones, we don't even know if he's going to be able to play at the start of next season. So they need a quarterback.
Ready, yeah.
And honestly, I think the Giants would rather trade up for Drake May or Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams, for that matter, in the top 3. But I don't think any of the teams in the top 3 are trading out.
I would agree. Yeah, I don't think so either.
And it's like, are you taking J.J. McCarthy at number 6? Personally, I am not.
I wouldn't.
But
you're not. I think your quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2, 3 here.
Exactly. If you're giving me the choice, if I'm New York, of trading for Justin Fields for like a 3rd round pick, I mean that's probably like the high end of what you'd have to give up, or drafting J.J. McCarthy at 6. I'm taking Fields, and I'm taking like Roma Dunze or Malik Neighbors at number 6.
Yeah, go get a dynamic receiver to pair with them. I like that a lot, actually.
I like that a lot. Go and get a running back in the draft in the later rounds. Maybe get a guy in free agency if you're the Giants. Like, they need a lot of help there in New York. They don't have a good offensive line, which might not be the best for Justin Fields. But, I just feel like Justin Fields at this point could be going to Atlanta if Atlanta doesn't land Kirk Cousins today. Could be going to Minnesota if Minnesota loses Kirk Cousins today. There's a lot of interesting opportunities, but I think New York is the spot. I really do.
That's what I think. I mean, Fields it's a shame that it didn't work in Chicago, and they're in a very unique circumstance where they're an improving team as they improved last year, but they have the number 1 pick and they have the chance to draft Caleb Williams, who you could argue is the best quarterback prospect over the last 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
you can say more than that.
Here's a hot take. I don't think that there is a more talented, better quarterback prospect in terms of the film than Caleb Williams in NFL history. That is the stake that I will claim. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that because people don't like him. All right, they don't like him personally. They don't like that he cried in his mother's arms after a big loss. They don't like that he paints his fingernails, which he does to honor his mother, by the way. So F you if you don't like that. All right, he also does it for his charity. And by the way, he already has a charitable foundation that he founded in college to help kids who are suffering from bullying. So if you hate Caleb Williams, I mean, that's a you problem, all right, in my opinion.
New deal coming in. The Bills and 3-time Pro Bowler left tackle Dion Dawkins have agreed on a 3-year, $60.5 million extension. Dion Dawkins.
I mean, Dawkins is the thing that I remember about Dion Dawkins is in the preseason last year, Nick Herbig bench pressing him.
I don't even remember that.
Nick Herbig comes out from a wide 9 formation, just pushes him and gets right to the quarterback. And that was the first time where I was like, Nick Herbig, this guy's going to be something.
Well,
and by the way, as a rotational 3rd down pass rusher next year, I mean, this pass rush is just going to be unbelievable next year.
And now Dion Dawkins, a very rich man.
Exactly. What did you say the deal was again?
3 years, $60.5 million.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Becomes one of the highest paid left tackles in the league.
That is a lot.
Speaking of, former Steeler Kevin Dotson, 3-year, $48 million deal.
Yeah, good for him, man. Happy for him. It just kind of sucks that, like, the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, like, they just tried so hard to make him a left guard. And he's just, some guys, like, they're just better on one side of the formation. That's just the way it is. And I know Mike Tomlin likes to say, oh, if somebody's not able to do something on one side versus the other, that's coaching. But just sometimes it's instincts. Sometimes someone's just a more natural fit on the right or left side of the line, and that's okay.
It happens.
And like Mike Tomlin just couldn't accept that fact, and because of that, Dotson never worked out here. But I'm glad that he landed on his feet. It just kind of sucks because you wouldn't have had to sign Sayamalo. As much as I love Sayamalo, he's a great player.
Good player.
But like if Kevin Dotson is your right guard and James Daniels maybe moves over to the left side, which I think he could do, you wouldn't have had to sign him. And Kevin Dotson would have been a much more affordable option for the Steelers. Ezra Cleveland signed an extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was traded there from the Minnesota Vikings at the trade deadline.
Yep.
Looks like they're really trying to they got Mitch Morse as well, so they're really solidifying their offensive line. Colton McKivitz, right tackle for the 49ers.
He gets a 1 year, $7 million extension.
1 year, $7 million contract. I don't love that, man. McKivitz was kind of booty last year.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot of money, but yeah, I don't know.
It's like
I'm not in love with them.
I have a feeling the Niners might go out and get a right tackle in the draft.
I can see that.
And he'll be like the stopgap, you know.
Let's talk about the rival Cleveland Browns for a second.
God, these Browns fans, man.
Jerry Jeudy goes to the Browns for a 5th and a 6th round pick.
Bro,
Jerry Jeudy is a drop machine.
Yes, he is. And Browns fans are talking about it like it's the Amari Cooper trade all over again.
Yeah, not quite, boss.
Dude, you got Amari Cooper for a 5th round pick. Amari Cooper's a top 10 receiver in the National Football League. Jerry Jeudy might not even be like top 40.
Like, he's good.
Like
he's underperformed his expectations.
Like
he's good.
He is not great. Like Jerry Jeudy is what like the anti-Deontay Johnson fans think Deontay Johnson is. Deontay actually has a lot better hands than Jerry Jeudy does.
Yeah, he does.
Like
absolutely.
There's some catches that Deontay makes where it's like, holy cow, how did he make that catch? And of course he has some concentration drops. But his overall hands and his contested catch ability is better than Jerry Jeudy's, who has one of the worst catch radiuses in the National Football League, and he can't catch in contested situations, or at least not very well. So Jerry is somebody that's a good route runner. He can separate against man coverage, but even if he's open, you have to have a quarterback that can throw him like on-the-money passes, and Deshaun Watson is not that guy. This is not going to work out for the Browns. And the Browns fans are...
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
The Browns are super excited about this. In my opinion, you just wasted a 5th and a 6th round pick for somebody that's not a fit for you, man. So have fun with Jerry Jeudy, Browns fans. That's all I'm going to say. Tyler Lockett, Russell Wilson's probably all-time favorite target, maybe besides Doug Baldwin, signs a 2-year extension with the Seattle Seahawks, $34 million total. Chris Jones with that contract.
I believe this is the highest guarantee for a non-QB in NFL history.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not even close, actually.
Chris Jones, he's an awesome player, man. But what that means is that they're probably not going to retain L'Jarius Sneed, which opens up potential options like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we get news about a L'Jarius Sneed trade to the Steelers today, especially because the Steelers have a player that's on the trading block at a position of need for the Chiefs.
Absolutely, yeah, Deontay.
With Deontay. And Deontay would be a good fit there, man. You know,
if you were the GM of the Steelers, would you make that trade?
If the deal is Deontay and a 4th for L'Jarius Sneed, I'm taking it.
I would too.
100%.
Yeah.
You're telling me I can put an awesome press man corner on the other side of Joey Porter Jr. next year? I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
You can straight up bully teams in man coverage next year, and then you got Minka roaming the center of the defense to just fuck shit up and go intercept passes. That's what he does best.
If you have Minka playing center field, oh baby.
Oh man, it's just ridiculously good when he's playing.
Now, a couple of interesting deals I wanted to talk about here. Kevin Byard to the Bears, 2 years, $15 million. Regressed a little bit last season. I think this is a reasonable deal, though, of $7.5 million a year. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I like it for the Bears. Their defense got a lot better towards the end of the season last year, and Byard is somebody that is still a good free safety. I think that he regressed a little bit when he got traded to the Eagles, but the Eagles were just a complete mess. So I don't necessarily blame that on Kevin. I still think he's a good player. And I think the Bears get a good deal there. And, you know, you add that with the DeAndre Swift, and, you know, they're going to get Caleb Williams. And
they're going to be a better team, man.
I think they're a playoff team in the NFC.
If they're not, Matt Eberflus gets fired. Maybe Ryan Poles, too.
I don't know, man.
If they're not a playoff team, I think Matt Eberflus is gone for sure.
Well, let's say they go like 9-8 and miss the playoffs.
I think he's gone regardless.
I don't think so. With a rookie quarterback, 9-8, I think that it's going to be close. Like, the expectations are going to be high for that team next year.
I was talking with our Bears host, Harrison Graham, and he was surprised they kept Eberflus after this year, even though they improved. I think they have to make the playoffs. I really do. But we'll see. The Bears are an interesting team for sure. Baker Mayfield, 3 years, $100 million, 50 guaranteed. Good for Baker after signing that bumper deal with Tampa Bay. All I'll say this, though, is would you rather have Baker for $50 million or Russell Wilson for $1.21 million? Think I'm taking Dangerous, baby.
$50 million? It's not $50 million. That's 30 plus per year.
50 guaranteed.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, that is nuts, man. Yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield, what that shows you is the value of Russell Wilson, because Baker Mayfield is like a mid-level starter.
Exactly.
And he's getting paid over $30 million a year to be the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Russell Wilson is a Super Bowl champion and a better quarterback than Russell Wilson, right? Or Russell Wilson's better than Baker Mayfield right now, and the Steelers are paying him pennies on the dollar.
Awesome.
It really does just puts it in perspective how great of a deal Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin got on Russell Wilson, man. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy, man.
You look at that right there. $1.2 million for a Super Bowl champion quarterback that had a better passer rating than Patrick freaking Mahomes last year.
Crazy, man.
All right, and that was with a team that was a terrible fit for him schematically. No running backs for most of the season because Javonte Williams was hurt again. Jerry Jeudy, who's a drop machine. No tight ends to work with. Tim Patrick was out for the year. All he had was Cortland Sutton, and he had a better passer rating than Patrick Mahomes last year. All right, so I love the Russell Wilson deal, man. You guys know how I feel about it. Let's get into our next sponsor read here at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Football season is officially over. I know, guys, I'm just as upset about it as you are, even though free agency is pretty fun. But the action on the floor when it comes to college and professional basketball is just heating up. It is March, after all. Whether it's tournament season like it is right now in college basketball or the fight for the playoff home court in the NBA, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the United States of America. This is what one of the NBA projections looks like. You can go points, you can go rebounds, you can go steals, you can go whatever stat category you want, and pretty much any player that you want for any game of your choosing. It's absolutely fun. It's really addictive, honestly, guys, and it really does spice things up with your viewing experience with college and professional basketball this March. So with Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right now. You can even do Prize Picks on frickin' NASCAR. They got everything on the Prize Picks app. So download it today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Again, download the Prize Picks app and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more or pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks.
Something I wanted to hit on here, Sperry, is we have about $25 million in cap space, but if for some reason they needed more, they're able to create room by restructuring these two guys.
Yeah, and you can decide how much you want to move around. Essentially what restructuring means is taking base salary that's still on their current deals and converting it into an additional signing bonus. So Alex has like 4 years left on his deal, I believe. Minka has 3, I believe. So you can definitely move some cash around without completely backloading their contracts. Also, Cam Hayward is another possibility because he might be retiring soon. So it might make sense to kind of backload his contract a little bit. So there's definitely some options for the Pittsburgh Steelers. $25 million going into free agency might not seem like a lot, but they definitely have room to potentially get some more room. And a reason why, if we can shift our focus to Russell Wilson in 2025, and the reason why I think Russell Wilson could be the long-term answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers, at least for like the next 4 to 5 years, whenever this Super Bowl window closes with the roster that they have now, right? Next year, they could sign Russell Wilson to a decent extension because Deontay Johnson is not locked up, so that's $15.8 million in 2025. That's not going to be on the books. That is on the books for 2024. And then if Cam Hayward retires after next season, which is the expectation, by the way, that saves an additional $22.4 million. So you can absolutely lock Russell Wilson up long term after this season if he plays well enough. And really, guys, he put up these kinds of numbers with the kind of situation he had to deal with in Denver. Not many great receiving options, not much of a run game, a scheme offensively that he wasn't a great fit in, and he still had 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He was third in quarterback passer rating in the red zone, and he's still putting up pretty darn good production. Now, obviously, 2022 was a straight-up disaster, all right? It was, without question, his worst season of his career to this point. Okay, Nathaniel Hackett, I'm not even joking when I say this. His offense in 2022, I watched every single snap of that year. It was
embarrassing.
It was the worst offense I've ever seen. And I have watched every single snap of the Matt Canada era here in Pittsburgh on all 22, and I can say that Nathaniel Hackett's offense was even worse than Matt Canada's. That's saying something, bro, because I don't even think Matt Canada should be working as a professional football coach. I think he's that bad.
He shouldn't be.
I think he is that bad, okay? And, that's what Russell Wilson had to deal with. And there was also a ton of injuries that year. And his receivers were also dropping the football a ton. It was a straight-up disaster forming around Russell Wilson in 2022. And then, things get better in 2023, and so did his numbers. He still has that moon ball, that rocket launcher arm that he is taking care of with the way he takes care of his body. This guy invests more into his body than probably any player in the National Football League today. He had 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He led a stretch for the Denver Broncos where they went 6-1, and they were in position to make the playoffs before they ended up sitting him because they didn't want the injury guarantees to kick in Denver.
Correct.
So they ended up benching him, not because he was playing bad, which is what some people assume. It was because they didn't want the injury guarantees to kick in. So we got $2 super chat here from Gold Club member. Actually, no, he's a Black Diamond.
Oh, I forgot. My bad, Samuel.
Sam is a Black Diamond. We need to give him his due. Sam, I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. It's good to see you. Says, I'm so happy it's not going to be baby hands KP.
It is Russell Wilson as the starting quarterback. There was some ridiculous talk I was seeing on Twitter that this would be a competition. No.
It's not going to be. They're going to say it's a competition. I have a feeling when the press conference happens on Wednesday or Thursday or whenever it happens, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, Kenny still has a chance to win the job.
Russ is going to have to earn his spot.
Yeah, Russ is going to have to earn it, and he knows that. Minnesota is signing Jonathan Grenard.
Wow.
Minnesota Vikings, Jonathan Grenard, edge rusher. So that pretty much ensures.
Danielle Hunter is out.
Danielle Hunter is not going to be a Minnesota Viking. Jonathan Grenard on his way to Minnesota to be their next, assuming to be number one edge rusher.
Yeah, he will be the number one edge rusher.
Like right now, there's no question. He is the number one guy there in Minnesota. We're waiting on details for the contract, but Jonathan Grenard, pretty darn good edge rusher. I wouldn't say he's like a bona fide number one guy, but very productive, very well-rounded. I don't hate that for the Minnesota Vikings.
No, I think that's a good deal, man, especially you knew they were going to lose Danielle Hunter in free agency. I bet they gave Grenard a decent amount of money as well. Probably not at the level that Hunter is going to end up getting, so they'll save a little bit there, but I like Grenard as a player. The only thing is, I think last year was like the first really good year he had, so can he do it on a consistent basis?
Yeah, exactly. I think Danielle Hunter is going to be a Washington Commander. They have the most cap space. They traded away both of their starting edge rushers last year, so they are desperate for a number one guy. So Grenard, the first edge rusher off the board in free agency this year. Little bit of a surprise there to me.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised by that.
I think the Vikings were kind of dead set on getting Grenard from the jump.
He goes to the bank?
And yeah, he goes to the bank, man. Very, very interesting move there by the Minnesota Vikings. Do we have an update on Tony Pollard?
Tony Pollard. Oh my. I didn't even see.
Titans. Tony Pollard is heading to the Titans.
Wow.
The reports lately have been that he was willing to take a pay cut to stay with Dallas. It's either that report wasn't true or Dallas just didn't want him back, period.
Yeah, Aaron Wilson, the Tennessee Titans are expected to sign Tony Pollard.
And, I like that fit. He's going to fit well with what Brian Callahan wants to do on offense there. Definitely interesting there.
I feel like that... Are you surprised the Cowboys didn't try harder to bring Pollard back?
I am. Because they're apparently, quote-unquote, all in, according to Jerry Jones. And if this guy was willing to take a hometown discount, which was what was reported to stay, why aren't you taking that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
exactly.
Is Deuce Vaughn going to be the number one running back in Dallas next year? Like, is that the plan?
I don't know.
Like, that would be a terrible plan. Tony Pollard is a top, 10 running back in football?
I think so,
At least?
I think so.
I mean, Dallas is going to have to address this. And, this doesn't seem like the type of move to me where Dallas is all in on winning a Super Bowl. It seems like the Steelers are more all in on winning a Super Bowl this year than the Dallas Cowboys are.
When Jerry Jones yaps, he's usually lying. He said that the Cowboys were going to be all in this year. Well, it doesn't seem like it because Jerry Jones has not spent in free agency in basically a decade. The last big contract he handed out to wasn't one of his own players, was Brandon Carr back in 2013. He doesn't spend in free agency, so I don't know where he thinks the Cowboys are going to go. But
yeah, he's just I don't know, man.
He's a senile old man.
Somebody's saying Demario Davis.
Demario Davis re-signed. Yep.
Okay.
With the Saints. Yep.
I mean, he's a decent player. I can't say I think he's the best.
And I guess what Pollard going to Tennessee means Tennessee is officially moving on from Derrick Henry as well, right?
What's that?
Pollard going to Tennessee means they're moving on from Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone.
They opted to go the younger route with Pollard. Who's 25, 24?
He's probably
26,
26
maybe.
I think.
Okay.
So they have him. They have Tyjae Spears as well, who they drafted last year.
And I like him.
I like him too.
I like Tyjae Spears quite a bit. So that's a good running back duo there in Tennessee. $2 super chat here. It says, just found this channel. So glad I did. Michael Beard, welcome to the show, my friend.
Welcome. This is why you subscribe, Michael. We bring you the latest Steelers news and rumors all throughout the offseason, during the season, every single day for free. So we appreciate you, Michael.
We appreciate you, Michael. Everybody spam Michael in the chat. Welcome, Michael. Everyone send your warm welcomes to Michael Beard. Welcome to the family, Michael. It's good to have you. It's going to be a fun day, man.
All right, Sperry. I'm going to have you call your shot right now. If you have to predict what the next move the Pittsburgh Steelers make, what do you predict?
It's tough because, you know that they're talking with a bunch of players.
They're talking with a bunch.
They're talking with a bunch of guys. So, I don't know. I tell you what, man, the one I want to happen next is Bobby fucking Wagner.
Me too.
Can you imagine
Bobby Wagner so bad.
Can you imagine Bobby Wagner in the black and gold with his visor? How sick he would look. And then how good he would play in this system, which is tailor-made for him.
Just picture it now. It's Thursday Night Football. Steelers are coming out in the Color Rush uniforms. Oh. Bobby Wagner with the dark visor on. I can't wait.
It's unbelievable, man. Like that. Imagine having Bobby Wagner in the Tampa 2 on third downs when Mike Tomlin. Oh, my gosh, man.
It'd be incredible.
Man, Mike Tomlin. I mean, Bobby Wagner's like tailor-made for that middle linebacker spot in this defense. He's perfect for it. It's perfect. And, he's gettable for, according to Pro Football Focus, a one-year contract, $4 million. This is a second-team All-Pro from last year.
Yeah, man.
7th highest-graded linebacker in football. So don't tell me he's washed. Don't tell me he's too old. I mean, do you want to win a Super Bowl or not? Let's go out and get the best fucking players we can.
So Cole asks in the chat, what's the scoop on Justin Simmons? What do you think about him as a potential fit?
I mean, there's no necessarily scoop. Nobody's really heard anything.
Yeah, we don't know what he's thinking, but as far as the Steelers go, I think at least he's a little too similar to Minka.
Yeah, he is Minkah Fitzpatrick, only a bit lighter. Like Minkah Fitzpatrick's better than Justin just because he does everything Justin does, only with a bigger frame.
Right.
But, you're going to have to move Minkah into the box.
So the details are in on Jonathan Grenard. 4 years, $76 million, 42 guaranteed.
Okay.
That's pretty reasonable for him.
That's about what he was expected to make, I think. That makes sense to me.
And that means Danielle Hunter is going to get way more than that.
Oh, Danielle Hunter, I bet he's going to get close to $25 million. Because you look at the entire scope of everything, okay? Like, there's so many teams that need a number one edge rusher, and Danielle Hunter's really the only guy that's like a bona fide number one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other edge rushers are even out there right now.
There's Josh Uche.
Yeah, he's not a number one.
No. Let me check the PFF board here. Excuse me, sorry.
T. Higgins also did request a trade. Yes, he requested a trade away from Cincinnati.
So Bryce Huff from the Jets, good player, good rotational guy. Chase Young is available. Jonathan Grenard just got locked up. Jadeveon Clowney had a really good season with the Ravens last year. Zadarius Smith also had a good season with the Browns last year. Leonard Floyd kind of stinks. Andrew Van Ginkel, good player. Danico Autry, Dorrance Armstrong, Calais Campbell, Brandon Graham got signed, Carl Lawson. It's not a great edge rusher free agency period, man.
It's really not a great class. So
honestly, it's not the best edge class for the draft either.
No, it's not.
I think in my first mock draft here that I'm going to be releasing in the next couple of days, I think I only have 3 edge rushers going round 1.
I was going to say, who's
the first one doesn't go off the board in the top 15.
Who's the top edge in this class?
In this class?
Draft class.
So, probably Dallas Turner.
That's what I was thinking.
Dallas Turner is the most well-rounded when it comes to physical traits and production. Jared Verse, I'd say, is a little bit more raw, but he has the potential to definitely be the best in this class. And then Leatu Latu out of UCLA is such a technician. He's going to be a good pro somewhere.
Details are in on Tony Pollard. He's getting the DeAndre Swift deal, 3 years, $24 million.
Okay, so that's the running back market.
That's the running back market.
The running back market for a high-end guy is $8 million.
Now I'll follow it. What do you think that means for Saquon Barkley? Does he get more than those guys?
I think he gets slightly more because he's more dynamic than those guys, slightly than Pollard, but I think he gets 8.5, maybe $9 million per season. That's what I think happens with Mr. Barkley.
The big news, though, obviously happened at about 11:40 Eastern time last night when the Steelers signed Russell Wilson, baby.
For the vet minimum. I mean, I've been advocating for that if you've been watching the show, for literally over a month.
No doubt.
And, I would always say on the show, you can get Russell Wilson for the vet minimum, which I always knew was a fact, but for it to actually come to fruition and he was actually willing to take a $1.2 million contract based on everything that he did last year and everything that he's done in his career, it's arguably the best quarterback value signing in the history of the National Football League.
I think he wanted to stick it to Denver and made sure they were paying him the maximum.
Oh yeah, because from Russell Wilson's perspective, he's 35 years old. He only has 1 Super Bowl championship. He says he wants to win at least 2 more. Okay? From his perspective, he's making $39 million in 2024 regardless
no matter
of what he gets paid. So if his focus is on winning championships, and it seems like it is, why wouldn't he take the vet minimum? Because he's going to get his money, so that's not going to get affected. And by signing the vet minimum with his new team here in the Steelers, it allows Omar Khan and the Steelers to be more aggressive in free agency and via trades and to fill out this roster. Whereas if you went out and got a Kirk Cousins or a Baker Mayfield or someone that was more expensive, it would really limit what you would be able to do in free agency. And you'd really have to focus on the draft to fill out the rest of your team needs. Now you don't have to do that. And because of that, the Steelers are going to have, most likely, probably the most complete roster in football next year.
Yeah. They'll have big flexibility, man. And it's not like the common misconception about Russell Wilson is that he's a cooked product. It's just not the case.
It really isn't, man. You look at these numbers, 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And listen, man, I'm not saying this to say Russell Wilson is better than Patrick Mahomes, because clearly that's not the case. All right, any functioning human with a brain knows that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet. But if Russell Wilson has a higher quarterback rating than him, has a lower interception percentage than him, a higher touchdown percentage than him, and is right in the same ballpark in yards per attempt and adjusted completion percentage, I mean, and this is in a situation where he's not the best fit for the offense. He doesn't have a run game because all of his running backs are hurt for most of the season, and his weapons not only are injured, but are not all that talented. I mean, Russell Wilson is still a really good quarterback if you look at these numbers, and there's no other way to spin it, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, a little news alert here. It looks like the Packers are releasing All-Pro David Bakhtiari.
So that could be an option for the Steelers.
I think so, too. You play him at left and you keep Roderick on the right?
Yeah, so, he's somebody that's going to be less expensive because he is so old and because of the injury history that he has. So Bakhtiari is the type of guy where if he's healthy, he's still a really good left tackle. And if the Steelers are really going to push their chips in the center of the table here and say, we're going for it, these older veterans are definitely on the table for them. And you could get a Bakhtiari and you could keep Broderick on the right side of the line for now. And then you could draft another offensive tackle to eventually take over for Bakhtiari. And then if Bakhtiari gets hurt again, like he does every season, you could just put in the rookie.
Now, do you think that the Steelers will be willing to spend a little bit more on Bakhtiari than maybe another run-of-the-mill tackle in free agency?
I don't think they'd be willing to spend more. Just because of the injury history.
He gets injured every single year.
The reason why you would be bringing him in is that Bakhtiari wants a Super Bowl championship, another one, because he already has one.
And he'd play on a discount.
And he'd play on a discount, like Bobby Wagner, by the way. This is why it's so good to have Russell Wilson on your team, because there's going to be people that want to come play for the Pittsburgh Steelers now because you have a super complete roster with one of the most talented defensive units in the league, really good young offensive weapons, an offensive coordinator that's well respected in the league, and Mike Tomlin is the number one coach NFL players want to play for. And now that you have a guy like Russell Wilson as your quarterback, you can get these older veterans that are still playing at a high level on a discount because they want to go win a Super Bowl. So that's going to really help out the Pittsburgh Steelers' favor here. That's another really good thing about landing Russell Wilson yesterday.
No doubt. No doubt about it. Hey, if you love what we're doing over here, be sure and hit that thumbs up icon. We appreciate every single one of you.
Okay. So this is a rumor, okay? And this is not from the most reliable source. It's from NFL notifications.
Oh, boy.
All right, so you guys, fair warning, it might not be true. But according to him, Kirk Cousins to the Falcons is a quote-unquote done deal.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think that's the landing spot for Kirk Cousins. The Falcons, I think, are going to pay him a sizable amount of money, and that's where he's going to end up. I think that's where it ends up. Now, if he ends up in Atlanta, that shrinks the market once again for Justin Fields.
Yep.
One less team on the table. Do you see a scenario? This would be crazy. There's no way that Justin Fields is traded in division to the Vikings, right?
No, there's a scenario like if Minnesota's gonna have to pay a premium to get him, but if Minnesota's the only team that's offering a second-round pick for Justin Fields, the Bears are going to take it.
Yep. Yeah, they probably do.
The Bears at this point, with the market being what it is for Justin Fields, they owe it to the organization to get the best pick that is offered to them. And they're not going to care if they're playing him twice a year in the division. They're really not going to care about that.
That's true, yeah. I mean, if the Bears have to do what's best for them, and if the Vikings give them the best offer, maybe that's the direction they go.
But the rumor is that the Vikings are interested in Sam Darnold if they lose out on Kirk Cousins.
I don't hate Darnold, honestly.
As a bridge quarterback?
Yeah.
But, I mean, that pretty much shows their hand that they're going to take a quarterback in the first round this year.
It would probably be J.J. McCarthy, right?
McCarthy is a good fit. Penix is a good fit, and honestly, Bo Nix is a good fit,
You think
too.
all three of those are good
All
fits?
three of them are good fits. I think all three of them are good fits for Atlanta and Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, the McCarthy thing just scares the hell out of me, man. I know I've watched a lot of him in college. I don't see it. Maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know.
He's got some interesting tools. He's got the good arm strength. He's a plus runner in the run game. I won't say he's dynamic like a Jaden Daniels or a Lamar Jackson or a Justin Fields, but he's a good runner. He can throw on the run pretty decently. He's got good footwork and good pocket presence. So he's got a lot of the things that you look for in an NFL quarterback, but he does have some issues. The mental processing, in my opinion, is inconsistent. It's a lot of one-read quarterbacking, and lucky for him, he was able to get away with that at Michigan because obviously they have so much talent there in Michigan. Both sides of the football, was able to rely on his run game, all these different things. He's never been asked to carry a college offense, let alone an NFL offense. So is it possible that he gets there? Potentially, but he's not a great touch passer, which scares me a little bit. Why'd my monitor turn off?
We're good. We're good.
We're good. But I think I have a late first round grade on JJ McCarthy, and I think that's what his value is, man. I think he has to sit for about a year or so. Don't think he's going to be somebody that can come in, face NFL kinds of pressure, because he has not been prepared for the NFL playing at Michigan. He had clean pockets. He was able to rely on his run game.
He had an unbelievable run game.
He had an unbelievable defense. It's just not going to be the same. Even if he gets drafted by the best team in football, he could be drafted by the San Francisco 49ers and replace Brock Purdy, and he would still face more pressure and more adversity with the 49ers in his first season, the best team in football, best roster arguably, than he would at Michigan last year. It's not even close.
No, not even remotely close.
Is JJ McCarthy going to be able to handle that kind of adversity when he's under pressure a lot and the windows are super tiny instead of canyons open at Michigan, right? Is he going to be able to do that? I don't know, and that's a big question mark. And anyone that tells you that it's not a question mark, I mean, I'd have to respectfully disagree. Right now, I would take Bo Nix over JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
I know you're not the biggest Bo Nix guy.
No, but I think Bo Nix is a better pro prospect, just given we've seen Bo Nix be an extremely accurate quarterback at least.
Because here's my thing with Bo Nix. He has good size. He's really built. That's something that people don't understand about Bo Nix. He is a big quarterback with some he's strong.
He's got a frame.
And he's got a good arm. All right, it's not J.J. McCarthy or Caleb Williams or Drake May or even Jaden Daniels, but
it's good enough.
It's very good enough. He threw it 60 yards in the air at the combine.
Exactly.
It's plenty good enough, okay? Then also, the pre-snap processing is the best in the draft this year out of anybody.
You think Bo Nix is?
Yes, he can process a defense, and he knows where to go with the football with his first read. All right, the second read and the mental processing post-snap, it leaves a little bit to be desired in my opinion, but Bo Nix can get that first read right pretty much every single time, which is something Sean Payton's going to love, by the way. And then the stuff at Auburn, the playmaking, the running, the stuff out of the pocket.
The improvisation.
He has that piece. So he's going to be somebody that is accurate with the football, has an NFL arm, really good pocket footwork, in my opinion, as well. And then when that first read isn't there for him, he's going to be able to escape the pocket and make plays. This guy, I think, you can make an argument, he is a better version of Brock Purdy.
I love that comparison, actually.
Better version of Brock Purdy. If you put him in the right system with the right weapons and coaching around him, he's going to be able to win you football games, and a lot of them.
No question about it. As far as the Steelers go, Omar Khan, the con artist, and Mike Tomlin, pretty quiet in the first hour of free agency.
Very quiet.
They made their move last night, so we'll see what happened. We'll see what happens here in the upcoming moments. Sperry, let's tell them about our lovely sponsor today.
All right. Thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. And you can download the Prize Picks app today or go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. And then if you use the code CLNS, you can get a first deposit match up to $100 today. Football season is over, but the action on the floor for college and professional basketball is just heating up. And whether it's the NCAA tournament season or the fight for NBA playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments every single day this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. You might be asking yourselves, Jack, how does it work? Well, here's how you play. Pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can even run up to 25 times your money right now on any entry on the Prize Picks app. You can see our entry here for college basketball today. A couple players from Gonzaga and then Western Michigan as well. So they got players from a bunch of different teams and a bunch of different stat categories as well. Points, rebounds, assists, minutes played even. They've got a bunch of stuff for you to choose from on the Prize Picks app. And with Prize Picks, it only takes 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right now and make March Madness even crazier for yourself with our friends at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Again, download the app and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more or pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks.
Shout out Prize Picks.
Shout out to Prize Picks. Let's see here.
If you missed it, here's our super chat menu for today. Any super chat will give you a shout out. 5, we'll do a here we go Steelers. 20 will get you on the hard hat or the helmet Hall of Fame. Looks like we got some spots filling up there. 50 will tortilla slap Mr. Jack Sperry, and 100 gets you in Steelers Talk Gold Club.
And by the way, we got 676 people that have voted on the live poll. 72% of the Yinzers in the chat say that the Steelers should sign Bobby Wagner today. And I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I would love the Steelers to sign.
By the way, Jeremy Fowler saying, watch out for Christian Wilkins to the Vikings, especially if they miss out on Kirk Cousins.
Christian Wilkins?
Yes.
Interesting.
So watch out. Jonathan Grenard and Christian Wilkins would be a pretty nice pickup duo there for the Minnesota Vikings. Brian Ruiz gives the Russ signing an A, and it seems like a lot of Steelers fans, when I first started bringing out the Russell Wilson stuff, I said it over a month ago. I think it was January or February. Was it February? I think it was February 3rd was the first time I said on the channel, I want the Steelers to go out and get Russell Wilson. So over a month ago. And the reaction that I was getting at that time, Coop, was he's too expensive, he's too old, he's washed, he's not good anymore. Why would we want him?
Exactly.
And it took a lot of time for me to convince people that this was the right move. But this is clearly the right move for so many different reasons. All right, you're getting him at the contract because when I first came out with the Russell Wilson stuff, people expected that the Steelers would have to pay him $30, $35 million a year, and they didn't understand that you could get him for $1.2 million. The minimum. And when it would be one thing to get a quarterback at that minimum, all right, but to get a guy of his caliber has never happened in the history of our league. Period.
It hasn't, yeah. It's never happened, and the Steelers got what I think is the best value deal for a quarterback in the history of the National Football League. I really do.
The guy is top 10 all time in game-winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks. He's got a winning record in the playoffs, 2 Super Bowl trips, 1 win. When and if the Steelers make the playoffs next year, and I feel very confident that they will make the playoffs next year because, goddamn, they made it last year with the quarterback play that they got.
100%.
And now they're getting a guy that I consider to be a borderline top 10 quarterback in the National Football League, who's also one of the best clutch performers in the league. Like, Russell Wilson is going to win some of these games at the last second.
So now that
2-minute drill and all that.
Now that they signed Russell Wilson, what do you think the future holds for KP?
We talked about this earlier today, but I do think that he's going to be on the roster.
I agree.
He's going to be the backup. And if Russ stinks, and if the Steelers are out of the playoffs at any point during the season this year, Kenny Pickett's going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, if they're eliminated, absolutely.
If they're eliminated from the playoffs, they have no reason to play Russ. He's only on a 1-year deal. If you're not in the playoffs with this roster, that means Russell Wilson was just straight up booty juice this year. And, you got to get rid of him next offseason anyway. So Kenny would get that last shot to prove that he has what it takes in Arthur Smith's offense to be the guy.
Well, the schedule is not out, but we do know the opponents the Steelers are playing and where we're playing. We just don't know what weeks.
The Vikings have re-signed David Quessenberry, offensive lineman, and Blake Brandel. No word on Dalton Reisner.
No word on Dalton Reisner. The Chiefs are re-signing James Winchester as well.
Dude, so I just got a report. I just got a notification. Steelers radio host, same old Steelers will go 10-7 with Russell Wilson.
Are you joking?
I mean, they were 10-7 last year with the 28th ranked offense.
With Kenny freaking Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph starting football games, they're going to be the same team? Okay, buddy.
Clearly that guy has not done his research on Russell Wilson.
Booty Juice was a great one. The chat's loving that.
I just don't understand how people don't like this move.
I agree.
There's literally no risk involved. The only reason why I could think someone doesn't like this move is if they're a big Kenny Pickett fan.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's like, guys, are we fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers here, or are we fans of the Kenny Pickett's? All right, because I like Kenny. I think he's a good kid. I think he works hard, and I think he got shafted with the organizational structure that he had to deal with his first 2 years.
I agree. I think he did too. He definitely got the short end of the stick, but it is what it is.
However, the Steelers have a roster that's ready to win now.
Yeah.
And with a guy like Russell Wilson, with his experience in the playoffs and his ability to perform in the clutch and his stats and his ability to push the ball down the field the way he can, he clearly gives them the higher probability of winning a Super Bowl over Kenny Pickett, who has been nothing but bad in his career to this point. Let's just acknowledge the statistical reality. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in football the last 2 years. If you went with him as your starting quarterback this year, you would be praying that he would make a massive year 3 leap with Arthur Smith.
100%.
And is that impossible? No. But even if he made that leap, in his first year making the playoffs, is he leading the Steelers to a Super Bowl over playoff experienced quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, all these guys? No way, in my opinion. No way.
Yeah, I agree. They're talking about Josh Jacobs there on the TV screen.
Raiders reportedly want to bring him back.
The Raiders reportedly want to bring him back. There was also reported interest, oddly enough, from the New York Giants as well, who have Saquon Barkley as a free agent. Do you see that as a fit?
It depends on price.
That's what it all depends on.
Because, they weren't willing to give Saquon whatever he was looking to get. And I think Josh Jacobs and Saquon are around the same price range.
Yeah.
So
we've seen 2 running backs today. DeAndre Swift and Tony Pollard have both gotten 3 years for $24 million.
Yeah. And, going back to the record thing, going 10-7, we went over the schedule last night with all the opponents, right? Because we know who the opponents are going to be and whether they're home or away.
Exactly.
And we came to 13 wins.
13 is not unrealistic, man. I mean, we'll say 12 for the sake of the argument. Let's say they lose a game.
Yeah, let's say, like Mike Tomlin always has some sort of trap game, okay? So we have to account for that. So 12 wins.
And if you're 12 in the AFC North, you are right there with the Baltimore Ravens to try to win the division.
You might even be right there for a number 1 seed.
Exactly.
If you're getting to the 13-14 win range with Russell Wilson next year, which isn't out of the realm of possibility in my mind.
It's not, man.
They really could be a 13-14 win team. You're going to be right there at the top of the AFC standings, period.
Sky's the limit for this team.
Really is.
It is.
And honestly, man, with the amount of cap space that they still have, with the draft picks that they still have, and all the players that they're still going to add to this roster around Russell Wilson, will the Steelers have a top 5 roster on paper in the NFL heading into the year?
They should.
They should. And if you have a top 5 team in this league, that gives you a fighting chance for a Super Bowl championship. Now, are they favorites? I think it's going to be tough for anybody to usurp Kansas City.
I would agree.
And it's if you have Kenny Pickett, where does your team rank in terms of Super Bowl odds?
Near the bottom.
Below average?
Yeah.
Not even in the top 20? But with Russell Wilson, all of a sudden that shoots up to maybe at least top 10, potentially top 5. That is a big jump. for a guy that costs $1.2 million. Omar Khan moneyballed the shit out of this contract, man, out of this quarterback situation.
Yes, he did.
This is the ultimate moneyball move of all time. $1.2 million for a guy that's this productive.
Some interdivision news: the Bengals re-signing Drew Sample to a 3-year contract.
He stinks.
He stinks.
He stinks. I don't care about Drew Sample. Bengals are cooked. Joe Burrow's great. Jamar Chase is great. But what else do they have going for them?
Not a whole lot, man.
Their offensive line stinks.
They're losing. Not yet. T. Higgins has requested a trade. They haven't traded him. They're going to lose Tyler Boyd. They might lose Joe Mixon. I don't know what that team is.
The defense stinks.
They're awful.
Like, their defense last year ranked 30.
They're legitimately bad.
Dude, their defense is so bad, they made Kenny Pickett look like a decent quarterback when he played them last year.
That was one of his better games last year.
It was probably the best game of his career was against the Bengals last year. All right, so that's how bad the Bengals defense was last year. The Steelers are going to have a complete roster on both sides of the ball. So are the Ravens. Bengals, man, I think that they're a distant third or even fourth in the division next year.
Shout out to the King, $2 super chat. He says,
Kyle King, your Royal Highness. Thank you, sir. $2 super chat says, if Kirk leaves, do we maybe send Kenny to Minnesota? I don't
never say never, but unlikely.
I don't think the Steelers are interested in moving Kenny.
If they get a deal that blows them away, they'll do it.
So the latest report is that Lloyd Cushenberry could be on his way to the Titans. The latest buzz.
So that the Titans had Aaron Brewer already, and he's a free agent. So they're going to sign Lloyd Cushenberry.
Maybe. That's the buzz. It's not official, but that's the latest buzz, is that Lloyd Cushenberry could be a Titan here pretty soon.
If I had to predict it, I think Aaron Brewer's a Steeler.
I mean, that's what I would do. Because if I'm Omar Khan and I'm trying to build up this offensive line, I know I have to replace center and offensive tackle.
Yep.
Okay? So we have to fill those two spots with guys I feel really confident are going to be able to do the job. Because listen, man, Russell Wilson holds the ball for a long time. All right?
Yes,
that is the reality. You have to protect him. And this offense is going to rely heavily on the run game. So you need to have an offensive line that works, okay? No excuses. So Aaron Brewer is a guy I know works in this system. He's played in it before in 2020 when the Titans were the number one seed in or the number one seed in the AFC. And by the way, Coop, if Ryan Tannehill could throw, I think we have that list for it in Steelers graphics, if you can maybe find that.
The Ryan Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill list for stat horizontal. I think he had 33 touchdowns to 8 interceptions that 2020 season. And Ryan Tannehill is like a mid-quarterback. He's like a bridge starter, and Arthur Smith made him look unbelievable in his time there in Tennessee. How is he going to make Russell Wilson look? All right, Russell Wilson was top 10 in most statistical categories last year on a percentage basis.
Ryan Tannehill in 2020. 65.5% completion percentage.
That sounds great.
3,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks.
And by the way, they were first and second in every single red zone category.
Ryan Tannehill could work in this offense.
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill did work in this offense. All right, they had a better record than Mahomes' Chiefs, the Josh Allen's Bills.
Yep.
All those teams. They were number one.
So it sounds like Cushenberry is going to head to the Tennessee Titans. It seems like a deal is agreed for that. Brandon Jones, the former Miami Dolphin safety out of my Texas Longhorns, is heading to Denver as well, which makes a trio of Texas Longhorn safeties.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for Brandon Jones.
They have Caden Stearns, P.J. Locke, and Brandon Jones now.
That is a lot of money for Brandon Jones, and so what is that per year? That's like what? I actually
almost 7.
Almost 7. So that probably drives up the market for a Julian Blackmon, which I don't love because I was hoping to get him for less than 6 per year. Brandon Jones is an okay center or safety, and you're getting him for 6.5 or whatever it is. And Cushenberry is going to the Titans, like you said.
Yep. 1 second, I'm sending a quick Slack here.
So if you were hoping for If you were hoping for Lloyd Cushenberry as the next center of the Steelers, he is officially off the board. All right. Do you know what they got for lunch today, Coop, by the way?
Dillas.
Ooh, we got Dillas for lunch today?
Little Dillas.
I like that.
What do you think our move is here? Do you think we maybe wrap it up and go see what else is going on?
And just do like, Dorrance Armstrong to the Commanders.
Okay.
All right, so I actually think this is a good time to probably...
Yeah, good time to... We'll cut it. If anything crazy happens, I promise we'll have you guys covered as soon as we can. We just have some other things we got to do here at Chat Sports, so we're probably going to go ahead and sign off for now.
Yeah.
If anything crazy happens, we will be back later, though.
So if the Steelers sign anybody, if they trade Deontay Johnson, if they trade for L'Jarius Sneed, if they make any move today, we're going to have you guys covered with a breaking news video for you guys. But for now, in terms of our live show, we've been live for about... almost
2.5 hours.
Over 2.5 hours at this point. It's been a good run here, and the Steelers haven't made a move yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to say goodbye for now, and then if the Steelers make a move, we're going to get a breaking news video out to you guys as soon as we can. So we appreciate all of your support. Thanks for sticking around and talking some football with us. And hopefully we'll see you guys later with a Bobby Wagner update.
Let's go, baby. All right. We'll see you guys.
All right. Till next time. Here we go, Steelers.